Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the MinnMax Show, plays about games, friends, getting better. I'm Ben Hansen. Thank you for being here. I'm joined by one Jenna Garcia.
Hello.
Fresh from the new Leo Win podcast, of course, it's Leo Vader.
Thank you so much. It's fun to do a collab like this. We're always talking about we should do more collabs from the Leo Win show. So this is great.
A lot of them didn't make the cut, and they know why. But it was alarming how many people wrote on the podcast this week talking about that New Show Plus reference and being like, hey, I'm really just writing in, hopefully, to get into the runoff for the Leo Win podcast next week for New Show Plus. So congratulations. Nice. We're also joined, of course, by the one, the only, Sarah Podzorski.
Ben, where is my Spain travel?
Why
log?
are you
Where
so invested?
is it?
This is my life, is working nights and weekends, sick as a dog, sweating, staying up late, cranking away at this MinnMax Spotlight that's going to be dropping on Monday, and then Sarah getting on Twitch and being like, Ben isn't working hard enough. Like, what is this?
I need my content, Ben. I need my content. I need to be fed.
Okay, what are you expecting to be fed? Because you're like, I want Jacob and Ben holding hands in Spain.
I want them holding hands. I want them kissing.
Look, I am very proud of this MinnMax Spotlight. I think it's really unique. I know we've been talking probably way too much about it. It is the least, like, Ben and Jacob kissing and holding hands content imaginable. It is like...
So you guys fight.
It's
Even
either
better.
us fighting or, like, I think the developers were so compelling that it was really like, all right, let's just focus this whole thing basically on them. If you want, like, more Jacob and Ben stuff, that's, like, Backstage Pass version, extended version, which is 11 hours. But, like, they were so compelling that it felt rude to suddenly cut to Jacob and I, like, sprinting around on the beach of the Mediterranean making stupid jokes. Like, just felt like it did not...
Nobody wants to see that?
It was Backstage Passers, maybe, but, like, they're so talented.
Where do you think I'm going to be, buddy
Yeah.
boy? That's the whole reason
I'm
I
in
work
the
at this
Backstage
company, to
Pass.
get free Backstage Pass, okay?
Yeah. All right, well, there we go. So that's coming up on Monday. Look forward to that, everybody. Do you all... This is a loaded question for the podcast. Do you all have, like, emotional swings with MinnMax sometimes where it's like, okay, we're doing all right. It seems fine. And then just feeling like, oh, my God, looking at the runway ahead, I'm so excited and I feel so good about, like, the slate of content coming up? Or is it just you pop on when you pop on and don't think much about it beyond that?
Are you asking us what our emotional, like, buy-in to MinnMax is
No.
in front of everyone on a live podcast?
Do you also have, like, a roller
Every
coaster?
employer I've ever had knows that I devote myself entirely to this company.
Not in a matter of own devotion, but just like, oh, I'm so excited for, like, the next couple of weeks or next couple of months versus, like, par for the course.
I tend to
I guess
notice
the
it
trips
after
are
it
really
happens.
exciting, you know?
I go like, wait a minute, we've had a banger run here for a couple months, you know?
Yeah. I think, like, trips is a big thing, Janet. Like, going on trips, it really, like, that Spain trip, like, flipped me. It broke my brain in a good way. And then, like, looking at, like, the runway coming up, it's like, yes, we have SGF, that coverage coming up as well. We have another MinnMax Spotlight that Haley and Sarah are going on soon. Perhaps flying over the Pacific. We'll be talking more about that in the very near
An
future.
even better Ben Jacob.
That's another build.
Yeah, I need to see the travel vlog because I need to know that mine will be better.
Okay.
So I need to see it and study it and
Oh,
plan
that's funny.
accordingly.
All right. It's going to be
All the
interesting.
flaws.
Yeah.
Me and Isaiah got addicted to the parasocial content aspect, and we're just, like, living through watching these where I'm just like, oh, we got hooked on that Sarah Haley Resident Evil Let's Play, and now we're like, how do we get more of that? And because we haven't successfully berated them into making another Let's Play yet, we have to turn our eye to that Spain travel vlog, which I haven't said anything about, but I'm also, my house has been dying for that. And I'm like, where is it?
All right. It's coming
Where
up
is
soon.
it?
This is
Yeah,
very sweet.
people are dying, Ben. You need to drop this vlog.
Interesting. I can't wait because it's like what we're going to be dropping is like, look at these talented developers, you know? So it's not so much like
Well,
wacky
since you haven't
times.
dropped
I'm hitting the
yet.
Backstage Pass to get it
I get
all.
it.
Like,
Okay.
I
All
want
right,
that, but I
so-
also want the
Yeah.
little pieces.
I need my
Sure.
Ben Jacob parasocial relationship. I need to see a little bit of it, please.
There's some of that.
Yeah.
There's some of that.
Well, I eat my dinner. Yeah, that's what I
get
want.
it.
That's what I'm going to do.
But yeah, coming up the next couple weeks here at MinnMax, we have like, you know, we're making a new episode of an old series, which is kind of fun to bring back a little thing from recent times. And then like we're bringing back, we have another kind of ongoing series at MinnMax here. it's a new rapid fire. I'll just say it, I guess. We haven't recorded it yet. It could fall through, but in theory, we have a new rapid fire coming. But there's a fun twist on it. And Janet and Leo were involved in that twist. And I was like, I think it's going to be a fun surprise for folks. And then more stuff, that. A deepest dive coming up that we're going to be announcing on this very episode of the podcast. It's going to be coming up perhaps later in May. But on unrelated notes, on this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about 007 First Light. Leo got to play it. So we're going to be talking all about the next game from the creators of Hitman there. Then there's an indie game very much fashioned after Hitman called Snap and Grab. So I want to talk about that. Then we're talking about Moves of the Diamond Hand. Very funky first-person game. We're going to be talking about that. Double Fine released a new game called Kiln. Then we have inKONBINI, a new indie game that came out that I'm excited to unpack a little bit here. Love Eternal. I don't know how I missed this game. I am very excited to talk about this. And then on the horror theme of Love Eternal, strangely enough, just today, as the time we're recording, the trailer dropped for the upcoming Resident Evil movie from the director of Weapons and Barbarian. And so I'm excited to talk a little bit about that because I'm very excited about that. And then, of course, back half of the show, we have some wonderful questions submitted over there on Patreon from this here community. But before we get into all that, if you enjoy what we're doing here with MinnMax, you are excited about the road ahead, you want to directly support independent games media, and get an awesome game at the same time, we have an offer for you. Because if you support MinnMax at the $5 tier, this is for brand new supporters only. Brand new supporters. If you jump in at the $5 tier before this coming Monday, May 4th, I'll personally DM you a Steam code for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. One of my favorite games from last year. Yes, there's a bunch of versions of older Mortal Kombat games in here. If you're nostalgic about those, it's awesome to jump through all these different versions of that. But the star of the show in my mind is like the interactive documentary. It's a digital eclipse joint. It is so insightful. We raved about it last year on the podcast. And now you can jump in and we'll DM you a Steam code for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. If you support us again at that $5 tier before this coming Monday, you can check YouTube and the description there for availability. Check our social media for availability. We have 200 Steam codes to give away, so we're excited to jump in and ship those out to new supporters because they had a big update with Legacy Collection. Big update for like quality of life stuff. They added 2-on-2 combat online, enabling tag team matches for certain games in the back catalog. So a sweet game just got even better. So you can jump in, support us, and we'll message you with that great game. Leo Vader, you've been traveling. I feel like, it was awesome to see that trip lined up for you going out to play 007 First Light. I felt like out of the loop. This is probably on me. It's 100% on me. But I was like, when is Leo on the road? It felt like it was mysterious. Like, where did you go? How long did you get to play the game? What was that whole journey like for you?
I felt like James Bond himself, man. I was globe-trotting, going to LA for one night. Played the game for 3.5 hours at a preview event with a bunch of other folks. A pretty open-ended, like a couple levels. Got to replay it over and over and try different ways of going about it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And the conclusion was, is the world's biggest Hitman fan?
I'm the world's biggest 007 First Light fan now.
Interesting.
As well.
All right. So, last time we talked about this game on the podcast, first time we revealed it, or they revealed it, you saw it, and you're like, proof's in the pudding, we'll see. And then as you're seeing more and more, you're like, yes. And now hands on the controller, is it still going in that same direction, or was it surprising based on what you were expecting here?
I guess I was a little surprised in how much it is not exactly like Hitman and how much I still like that. I don't know. My foolishness with the trailer was like, that was a wake-up call for me on like, why do I even care about trailers at all? It's like I'm judging marketing trends more than I'm judging how this game actually is.
Yeah.
Versus like actually what IO makes out of this. I can trust them because they've done such good work. And frankly, I'm still playing Hitman Freelancer every single week. So I don't really need them to put out another Hitman. If they put out this and I'm in it for a month or two and then I'm back in to Hitman, no problem. But the thing is, it's like the Hitman dynamic decision-making, that kind of immersive sim, except obviously there is a lot of stealth, but it's almost more that kind of lens over an action game. The kind of group combat brawling where you're making that amount of decisions and you have those options available to you.
And that doesn't
cool.
Isn't it a weird push and pull of like, if it's more focused on action and the action in theory is better than Hitman action, Like,
Yeah.
isn't it weird? You don't have a license to kill for a while. Like, how do they balance that without you just running in and, like, annihilating the place?
Yeah, license to kill is like mechanical. When you're shot at, when people want you to die, that's when you can take your gun out and shoot them. But besides that, it's mostly stealth and mostly brawling and trying to contain these situations, which it is all, of course, more linear, more wide open levels versus like infinitely perfectly sandboxy levels. It's kind of just points where it opens out and points where you have to go through the narrow part and then points where it opens out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot more time spent in the transition between stealth phases is I guess how I would describe it. You're like getting spotted by one person and you knock them out, but somebody sees the body and they start calling in reinforcements, but you throw something at them to stun them to get over to them to take them out. And then it says situation contained, or people are fully searching for you and you are spending more time doing that cat and mouse panther thing versus Hitman kind of getting caught in a closet and shooting everybody who comes in.
But will you get annihilated if you want to treat this like an action game? If you're a fan of like older 007 games, Everything or Nothing or whatever, and you go in here and just try and shoot your way through it, is it like going to hit you in the face?
Not too brutally. And certainly I think once you get really good at it, especially, it won't. There might be a little more hiding than you're used to, like getting in a fight when somebody else has a sight line to you, like you have to plan around that stuff. It's meant to be always moving, always taking care of who you can, and then getting out of there when it's the right decision to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is maybe forest for the trees. I'll say quickly that
Please.
the combat itself is some of the best action combat I've experienced because of that immersive simness and because it is so physical. I feel like with physicsy combat in games, we kind of jump to air juggling, and then we've all enjoyed air juggling, so we kind of keep doing that. But I haven't seen that much like actually you grab a person, you throw them around, they hit a wall and they take damage and they get stunned, or they go over a countertop and they're getting stunned being on the other side of that, or they're grabbing you and throwing you and that does a tiny bit of damage, but then when you hit the wall, that's when you take the big amount of damage and you can like survive the throw but die from the hit because it is physical, or getting thrown off a ledge and taking more damage like that, grabbing somebody and throwing them off a ledge. And it's just like decisions within all of this. It's one button to grab and you can do directional throws. You can do short or long presses of the attack button to do like knee hits or whatever. And you can hold the grab to kind of grab them as you're going and run with them and take them off a ledge with you, or shove them into a wall like that. Or, throw them and then there's like a shoulder charge move into them, then throw them back. And you're playing with, there is parrying and there is dodging, but you're playing so much with how to move these characters around. You can, somebody's calling for reinforcements, you grab the guy you're fighting and throw them into the guy who's calling for reinforcements and stun him out of it. And this isn't even to mention the hacking that is also present at all times, including the combat. Time slows down a little bit so you can make those decisions too. It is Watch Dogs type, but more advanced than Watch Dogs ever was, frankly, of activating this thing as a distraction or using a different hack to blow it up, and it spends a currency, so you kind of don't have unlimited free range to do it. You're more tactically doing it, and it's a decision. Some things it takes currency to hack, but you can also just walk up and press it, and it doesn't spend currency. It's hard to even put into words just like how there are in that immersive sim framework of there are multiple things you can do with everything in a kind of action combat setting where you are making these decisions super on the fly, kind of like the best of Freelancer. You get yourself in this sticky situation and you have to really think on your feet. In what is so beautifully rendered, the flow between animations and stuff, I did not know IO had it in them.
Really?
How good it looks to be moving between these moves.
That's interesting, because that is where I'm at with this game overall, is like excited for the ambition, excited for the studio. There's still a part of me that's like, it's gonna release jankier than people think. I feel like it's still going to be like 20% jank happening here. And from what you played for several hours, you saw less of that than you thought?
There's a couple like guys weren't animating, they'd like slide over instead of run over a couple times in the multiple hours. We're still a month out from release, so I don't know. Nothing like game breaking. And it kind of carries that over from Hitman and other immersive sims of like, if one little part is broken, sometimes it just becomes another little puzzle to solve. Like that's a strength of that design, is you can that's just another thing to adapt to most times.
Right. Yeah, chat's asking Jan from Giant Bomb. Did you see him at the event, by the way?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I saw Michael Huber there.
Oh, Easy Allies, friend of the show. What did he have to say?
Oh, he was enjoying it. Yeah, we sat next to each other and talked about how it was like surprisingly difficult and you had to really lock in. Sat there next to him for 4 hours, played the game. It was awesome. And then at the very end, I looked up. I realized I was the only one still playing. Everybody else was leaving the event. I said, okay, probably it's time to close this.
No,
Realized
no
the
one
person
wanted
on
to
my-
come up and be like, "Excuse me, sir, we're actually closing."
Which part of me wanted to hold out for. Just like, let's see how long I can really do this because I was still having so much fun. But on the other side of me, somebody whose voice I'd been hearing the whole time but hadn't really clocked or recognized, he was getting mobbed on my right. And I looked over and realized that I'd been playing next to Nakey Jakey the entire time.
Your hero. You love Nakey Jake. Did you talk to him?
No.
You would think you'd recognize if you're sitting next to him because that ball was probably like rolling into your space a lot.
Yeah, right. Never leaves home without it. It's hard to put into words exactly the series of wrong decisions I made that made it impossible to approach him. But you'll have to take my word for it. That by the time I was like, I really should talk to him, I had made too many wrong moves and couldn't re-enter the conversation.
Yeah, it feels a
Real
bond
meta game
level.
you were playing at this event where you're like, I have the game, but then I also have the social aspect, which is so valid.
Right.
This might be diminishing or like boiling it down to something too simplistic, but when it comes to like 007 formula, like the now established formula versus Hitman, is there something that like you wish one borrowed from the other? Do you feel like these are two distinctive enough flavors that it's like, no, these are their own things that just kind of, if you like one, you probably like the other?
I was honestly thinking about it more like people who don't like Hitman. I'm excited for them to get their hands on this and feel what IO does well in a genre they're maybe more comfortable with, because it is cool how it is kind of that similar language, but in a much more approachable way, including that it's a little more on rails. There's lots of different ways to find your infiltration point into a gala or whatever, and I couldn't find a way to like turn off the guidance for that the way I do in Hitman. It kind of has mission stories, but you can turn those off and go fully like, I want to find my own way through this. Bond has a little more mandatory guidance so far. So I think that'll be good for players who are intimidated by something like Hitman. I think that they'll be more comfortable here, but I hope there's more ways to make it a little more open-ended, or at least feel open-ended. Like, yeah, you're making your own choices.
Yeah, because what I was going to ask earlier is, I guess, Jam from Giant Bomb compared to like Uncharted. It feels maybe like a stealth level from Uncharted 4 or something. Is that like the closest comparison you think for the feel?
Sure. I mean, certainly in the presentation, like I was, again, didn't know IO had it in them for how good it looks transitioning between cinematics and dialogue. You can dynamically talk to people. Like there's it's a very different feel versus wandering a party at Hitman. In Hitman, it is more like that Uncharted. These are real characters. You can scan them to go like, oh, this character will respond to this in a certain way and get kind of hinted that way. So I think on its face, it looks like those Uncharted 4 galas, but yeah, there's definitely more in there. And it's not entirely guided. You still have your gadgets and you still can be hitting people with poison darts. For fans of Hitman, you got the vomit poison dart that you can shoot out of your phone in this, and you can do it inconspicuously from anywhere instead of it being illegal. You just hold up your phone and a dart flies out of it, and you can do it while everybody's looking right at you. It feels crazy powerful.
Wow.
Do they have like other references to Hitman?
When you electrocute people, which can be similarly like hack a socket on the ground and spill water on it. It's a very Hitman style trap. When they get electrocuted, you do see their skeleton like in Hitman.
Oh, good. Okay. And Home Alone. Good. I think that's the way
Yeah.
it should be for everything. Yeah. I mean,
Is it like really narrative heavy then compared to Hitman, where like they're like
Yeah.
trying to get you through a story, like rising action conclusion versus just like various sandboxes?
Yes, for sure. Which again, like, overall, just so impressed how they did their version of this while hitting those things you expect and hope for. Because yeah, it is bringing you through from moment to moment, but it always is feeling paced well, and you feel like the distinction between the games I love and the games I don't love is like I feel like I am the one there doing it, and every bit of progress I make is because I did it. And the way that those kinds of more creative decisions flow into the cinematic stuff that always has a layer of gameplay over it. There's one part where we're getting our ass kicked or about to be killed, and we kind of have to balance our health bar with another bar by stalling or provoking, so he comes over closer to hit us, and you're balancing your health not being too low while this other bar is filling. It's like cinematic stuff, but with a little bit of action in it. A little bit of your input is required, including like the QTEs we did. You're fighting over a gun, and it's one button to like wrestle and move the gun, and one button to pull the trigger. And so you're wrestling over it and pulling the trigger before it's like up against their head, and it becomes this dynamic thing versus just a button's on screen and now I gotta press it. They really want to make each of those moments have something to them.
Yeah. And Leo, do you feel like Bond from playing this game? Don't actually answer that. What I'm excited about, like, is not even like being a big James Bond guy, but even like the latest trailer where they show that like, oh, you can go to the MI6 headquarters and get to like walk around that space and like go to the gadget room yourself physically and walk around it as they're like explaining new gadgets and stuff. Like, did you get to do all that stuff? Like, that has to build upon the fantasy in a weird way, right?
No, we didn't do that stuff. We did do one level from the training process where it's you and the other students at MI6 Academy having to go through this open-ended training thing, which is so much more effort put into that than Hitman, which was play a regular level and shoot anybody you want, and we just make some of the props out of cardboard and we tell you that it was fake afterwards.
Right.
This, it's like they're paintball guns, and when you're hit, paint goes on you, paint goes on them when you hit them.
That's good.
That's the presentation is leveled up that way. But yeah, the feeling like you're moving through MI6, I'm excited for that, and because it such a game for me, it's like more Kingsman vibes than James Bond vibes almost. Which is of course a James Bond parody, but the like being in class with your mates on top of it, it's kind of the Hogwarts
With the boys.
of James Bond.
Boys.
Yeah, finally,
And
James
girl,
Bond is for the boys.
and like Kingsman, one girl, thank you.
One girl? Oh my god.
Do you think that the paintball stuff? I haven't seen every James Bond movie. I don't know if paintballs have ever been in a James Bond film, but like, you think that's like a GoldenEye reference in the paintball mode on N64?
Could be.
That's what I was gonna ask too, is like how many Bond references are in this game? Like, is it too many? Is it like not many unless you would notice them? Because like I don't think I've seen a single James Bond movie. Like at all.
Sure.
So frankly, like if I play this, am I gonna be like feeling like I'm missing something, or is it just gonna be like it's still gonna be a fun game?
I would bet it's still a fun game. I don't consider myself that fond of Bond until the opening titles hit in this gameplay, and I'm like, it's triggering something nostalgic in me that I don't always know is there. It's like, okay, there is something deeper here in my connection to this, and not a lot of like in your face. He says the line from GoldenEye, at least in the sections we played, but there was still enough of the motifs, enough of the the circle going across the screen is kind of how they do the loading.
Okay.
And like Ben always says, why don't you just play the main theme we all want to hear? You hear the Bond, the theme you associate with Bond kind of a lot.
Great. Do it. If you got that button, hit it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you, Leo. We're like, you forget what you're nostalgic for or don't realize you have inside your soul. But I was watching the latest trailers for this, and like the fact that everyone ends, like the way the Bond theme ends with like that little just I can't even do it. But like the final guitar strum, I'm like, God, why is that iconic in my brain? Like it seeps in, man.
Spy guitar.
So it's coming out May 27th. If you want to get your hands on this and play it. And Leo, I'm recalling you talking about your favorite era of Giant Bomb, other than the current Giant Bomb, when you were talking about like them breaking down every new Hitman level as it released and how fun that was to dive in that deep and unpack every Hitman level. And maybe that's related to something that you would love to kick off around May 27th, perhaps.
I don't know. I'm just going to move on. I did want to plug, we're going to do a deepest dive for 007 First Light. I coming off this preview, I really felt energized to host it. And with deepest dives, you either, the reasons not to do a deepest dive are either you don't like the game and don't want to be forced to play through all of it, or you like it too much and you don't want to be forced to stay at the gate points and not move past them until you've recorded the conversation. But this game, I feel like I will just replay the levels.
Oh yeah, that's kind of
if I want to play it.
That's a good point.
That replayability.
This is time for it. Yeah, so we'll have more details on Patreon soon. But yeah, there's going to be a multi-part game club discussion with a full panel, overflowing panel, covering 007 First Light. So if you want to help us create the best, most thorough discussion about 007 First Light on the internet, you can support MinnMax on Patreon. And if you support us at any tier, you can submit a comment for us to read during those discussions. I'm excited about like a super gameplay focused deepest dive. You know, like you're obviously going to talk about the larger narrative as well, but just like having the type of discussion where you can just unpack, you know, the improv combat that you all are getting into in stealth situations over and over again. I think it's going to be super unique.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of stories.
Look forward to stories, everybody.
Everybody's.
Speaking of stories, let me tell you a story about this little studio out of Seattle called No Goblin. They have earned my undying love because of Roundabout, which is the game where you're a limousine spinning around like Corinne, and it's like a comedy game with live action, and it is just as good as a game you can get. And then, like, you know, Dan Teasdale, the head of the studio over there, he goes back and he's at Twisted Pixel before that, working on Wavy 2 Man's DLC and stuff that, again, it's like, all right, this is comedic genius. I'm in completely. But they just launched their new game called Snap and Grab. And it is basically an indie take on Hitman, except instead of going around and killing people like that dirty Agent 47, yeah, in this one, you're taking pictures of stuff and arranging it to then steal. You're basically a Carmen Sandiego fashion photographer is the basic premise here. And it's a weird release as far as I can tell. You know, it's like technically Annapurna published it. It seems like it's like $8 on Steam. And I think it's just like for the one level. And then they're going to Hitman style, I think, like slowly release more levels. But it's not technically early access. It's just kind of like this episodic release of levels, kind of like the early days of the Hitman trilogy here. But Leo, as a huge Hitman fan, I'm curious what your first impression was of an indie take on it with Snap and Grab.
Yeah, can I talk once, please?
Please.
I've often said I miss Hitman 1's episodicness because it does give you more time to dive into each individual thing, but still, when I saw this game was episodic, I said, oh, I don't know, I don't want to play that until it's done. But I got to put my money where my mouth is and try it episodic because it does seem to have that depth. There's a million things on each level, and it's so open-ended in how you put them on that little plan board. Put them in any order and hit play to see what happens if you try to take this before you knock the guard out and whatnot.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing, I think, is the idea of like, all right, you're rearranging photos in there to try and come up with a plan of like, okay, got to do this before you can do this, and you got to do this before you do this. And it's surprisingly satisfying then to like hit like, all right, and launch it. And then you got like your big bruiser bodyguard named Brick, and he's just a big dumb guy. You get to see him like try and go through the plan that you enacted, and it could fail spectacularly, or like when it succeeds and the music is like building and building, you feel like a freaking genius. But ultimately it's weird because like you're just arranging these photos in a certain order and hitting go. But like that,
yeah, it's like you take the photo and you press a button to look at it, and you can cycle through everything on the photo and click in and say one of multiple things you can do with it, and you take that and you go and you grab that and put it on the board. Like it's to be clear, it's so on you. You can pull from hundreds of things, and you really have to figure out what the right sequence is.
Yeah. So one of those that you want to spend more time with is kind of your high level takeaway.
Definitely. It's got the freelancer element of building a house on top of it. You're unlocking new things for your house as you do the heist in, I guess, different ways and stuff.
Yeah, it is nice. Like, what is it? As you're, you know, I forget if it's like the UI when you pop back in your apartment for the first time. It's like, congrats on your cool crime. And it's like, all right, go launch more crimes as you go try and steal more stuff. It is
and
like,
you go on the globe, you pick your location like it, man.
There you got it all. It's fun to see like an indie team trying to tackle. I haven't seen it yet of them trying to take on the full Hitman experience. And I think you start to realize like there's a lot going on with the systems under the hood in Hitman. Like they have to account for a lot of situations. And, you know, you can see at times like the budget of this game and how it's a little bit cobbled together. Like the 2D art, I think looks awesome. I almost wish there was like more of that in the animations in the game. Because every time it's like the 3D characters in the world talking, I'm like, okay, you can see this is not a budget of a Hitman. And it's kind of bring it through. But Sarah, did you check this out at all?
No. But then I heard it was $8 and I was like, wait a second. Only $8?
There you go.
What a deal.
Now, Sarah, of course, as we talked about, you're a fool if you are looking for the game Snap and Grab and you search for Snap and Grab on Steam.
Yeah, don't search for Snap and Grab, okay? You got to use that ampersand. Because literally you were like, Snap and Grab. And I was like, let me look that up. And I was like, can't find it. And I didn't know what I was doing wrong.
Yeah, it is ampersand, everybody, to find Snap and Grab. It seems like you think Steam would like account for that. Are we really at a point where that need to be that specific? What am I coding to freaking
You're like,
search
we
for
never
a game?
thought someone would put an ampersand in the title.
It's impossible. But yeah, hopefully we can talk more about it in the future for Snap and Grab here.
Yeah,
Hey.
excited to play more.
Yeah. Are you, Sarah, being in the indie marketing world with Fields of Mystery and stuff, do you feel like empathy for when you see good games out there completely under the radar? Or do you need to just like stay focused in your own lane? Do you feel like the tragedy of all these great games not getting their time in the sun?
I definitely feel like empathy for indie games. Like it's hard to stand out, especially now more than ever. I feel like indie games is like a really crowded space, more so than not. And I feel like recently, not even recently, but like when you see a trailer, people make really snap decisions on it. So like if you go to the snap and grab comments, everybody's like, "This looks so lame, I hate it." And then there's people being like, "Why are you guys like just like shutting it down?" Like people shut down games so fast now.
Yeah.
You're as a game like you have like 5 seconds to convince someone that your game is worth playing, and you're really going up. It feels like you're a little like Sisyphus. Like you really have to roll that boulder to convince people to even look at your game.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, I feel like it's the conversation that we've been having over the last, I don't know, 15 years realistically of just like, increasing visibility issues. But I feel like it's just at a peak when I look at like the great games, even like releasing this year, and then I'm too focused on it. I know it's not the full picture. I know it's not the full story, but just looking at like Steam review counts and being like, woof, 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 like everything one after the other is just like destroying me. Like, Perfect Tide, Station to Station, even like Skate Story, Creasol is a game I was looking at again. Mr. Sleepy Man, Esoteric Ebb, even to some extent. Screamer, my beloved Screamer. Beyond Words, People of Note. Chain Staff, which is a game I want to talk about in the near future. It's cool. Titanium Court. I feel like there's so many of these games. Love Eternal, I think, is one. And it's just like, okay, a couple people check it out and everyone else is moving on. And I don't know what you do to get people to check out more unique indie games out there.
Yeah, Perfect Tide, Station to Station. There's never been a game more earnestly, wholeheartedly recommended by everybody who's played it.
Right.
And that amounts to 150 Steam reviews.
Right.
But I haven't reviewed it yet.
Hey!
I'm intending to, because I know what a difference it makes.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it too, hopefully. Maybe a Max spoiler's coming up in the near future for Perfect Tide, Station to Station as well. But
Incredible game. And you know what? You know what it is?
Please.
I'll tell you straight up what it is.
Yeah.
You either play a new game that gives you gambling fun, or you play a homework game, and nobody chooses homework games. But that's because we have decided they're homework games, because we've been brainwashed by gambling games. It's not that hard to pick up Perfect Tide, Station to Station, and then the second you play it, you go, oh, this is why I play it.
But there's so many other games that I have to do that. Like it's kind of like when you have to do. I feel like so much of life is everything you need to do doesn't take that long, but if you put them all together, it's like 8 days of work. So you do have to figure out the like I've had laundry sitting in the living room for a while, and it's like it really doesn't take that long. But if I do that, I'm not going to do all these other things I'm doing. So I've just been sort of chipping away. But I won't forget how to fold laundry, but I might forget what's going on in Perfect Tide, Station to Station. So I'm like, I have to wait until I can just like, if I like it, I can like finish it. Instead of having like, I started 8 different games. It's like, who keeps opening these bottles of water and leaving them everywhere? That's kind of what I feel like has happened with my gaming in the past.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't make me feel guilty.
No, you know what it is, though? Is Perfect Tide, Station to Station is a specific...
See, this is the problem. Is AAA gaming
case for me
crap.
where... Am I online still?
Yeah, we got you now. You're being cut out by the man.
You
They're
booked
trying
1
to shut me
second ago.
down. They're trying to shut me down. Perfect Tide, Station to Station. It was a game. I was changed the way I'm choosing to play games at this point in my life, because I played it and I said, oh, sometimes I'll want to finish a game because I care about the characters and what it's doing, and it's easy to finish, and I don't forget about it because it actually rocks. Those games do exist, and I actually am not totally broken where I have to force myself to finish every game. It just turns out that I don't like most games enough to finish them.
Yeah, but then when I hear you say that, Leo, I go, I should really play this game, but I have to wait until I'm in like the perfect frame of mind, emotionally, mentally, until I sit down. I want to be the most open possible, because like I feel like you, like compared to other things, you can't just like passively play these games, right? You have to be open to them emotionally, mentally, and I feel like that's why I'll always pick, like sometimes I'll just pick, you know, The Sims for the 100th time over like a game that I know might change my life.
But I think we overestimate its difficulty from how much we put it off. Same as doing the laundry. We build it up to be a bigger thing than it is. And that was another Perfect Tides thing of, wait a minute, I think I'm only going to play games that interest me in this way. and I will actually get a lot out of that versus like this runway I built to play a nothing game and listen to a podcast to make my life disappear faster.
So what's the lesson? Just people listening, watching, just hey, go ahead and find an indie game from 2026. Buy it. If it's under $30, just push yourself a little, experience something new. Stop playing Sims.
You've got something in your library already that you bought and haven't played and meant to. And there's a reason you wanted to play it, and you've overestimated how hard it is to just boot it up and just try it.
Yeah.
But if you do it without thinking about it and making such a thing out of it, suddenly you'll be doing something that's opening your mind.
But instead, everyone's just jumping in and playing Windrose, which has sold like 1.5 million copies at this point.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Which is pretty good too.
It's amazing, but it's just like seeing like, okay, it's just like the multiplayer angle. This is the pirate game. It's like a healthy indie Skull and Bones take. And Leo, I promise this isn't some backdoor play to get you to talk about this game for a long time, but like you dabbled in the pirate game and you had quick thoughts.
I have a few hours in with my wife. Yeah, we've got our first ship together. It's definitely more in the survival grind than I expected versus like the pirate adventure, but I know that's coming more. But it is a very much build a base, build a series of bases.
A little more Valheim, a little
Yeah.
less. What's that really popular multiplayer pirate game that everybody loves? Sea of Thieves. Yes.
Right, and it is co-op only, so it's a little more a comfort for that, I guess. Than Sea of Thieves, you fight each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the main jam, yeah. So it's just, okay, because you didn't dabble in Valheim, right? You haven't seen the light of Valheim like Sarah and I?
I did dabble and did not see the light yet.
Damn.
Okay. All right. So it's just the survival stuff will turn you off a little bit more than most people, where it just seems to be an aggressive turn on.
It's sometimes I'm in the perfect mood for it. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for it. That's all there is. And certainly when I'm with my wife, it's great to grind together and be working on projects together, split up and each work on different things. The
Yeah.
Do you
combat
have like
is
your
crazy hard,
roles?
though.
You know, like when you play those like survival games, everyone in the group usually has like a role. Like there's always that one friend who you just never see because they're like a mile across the map doing God knows what, and they're like, I'm exploring. And then like I always end up being the one that's like, I'm gathering us food and putting it in the food chest because nobody's doing it and we're gonna die.
Right.
Thank you.
And then you're the one person who only wants to build. And all they do is build, and you come back and they're like, well, I expanded our house and now we have 4 bedrooms, and you're like, oh, great.
Yeah, or I'm just going to go out and fight trolls the entire time because I'm going to treat it like a little combat simulator. It's like, no, we don't stop just going into enemy territory again and again and again.
Yeah, no, I'm the navigator. You know, we found our roles as much that way. Although we have trained her in because, you know, you don't want to get caught in a situation where she has to drive and she's never done it before because it's a little weird steering that boat. But besides that, we're still kind of in the fighting for our lives phase. We haven't really settled into finding roles within our community. It's more like, I got killed by a boar again. I've got to go run over there and get my stuff back.
Right. Sweet, good times.
Weird. So not spending as much time at sea as you would have in early game as you would have assumed.
Right. Oh, we only just now got our ship, and it's so basic. There's not much we can really do with it. It seems like all that stuff that you really got to work for.
Yeah. That's Windrose, if you wanted to check it out. Hey, you know something that the world is screaming for you to check out, Sarah Pazorski?
What?
Don't be scared. It's Kaleidoscopes in Iowa, everybody. Thanks to today's sponsor. They want you to put Pocahontas County, Iowa on your radar for a fun vacation this year. Pocahontas County is home to 11 large kaleidoscopes throughout its communities and county parks. As part of the state's tourism initiative to take some time discovering what Iowa has to offer, our kaleidoscopes provide an affordable and fun vacation with your family, friends, or even independently. Each kaleidoscope contains a unique design and has its own color scheme to match the history of the town or park. Not sure when to vacation? You could visit during Heritage Days in Pocahontas on June 19th and 20th, or during Greater Rolfe Days and Lorenz Summer Vacation on July 10th and 11th, or during Gilmore City Fun Days and the Princess City Car Show on August 14th through 16th, or the Princess City Carnival on August 21st or 22nd, or perhaps during the Fonda Labor Day celebration for an end of summer getaway. All these community celebrations have multiple free activities to enjoy. Be sure to join the fun and add Pocahontas County, Iowa to your travel list this year. You can visit discoverpoco.com to start planning your itinerary. That's discoverpoco.com, everybody. It truly feels like a parody of a MinnMax ad read, but I am so delighted. Every time I
I think
open up,
it's the best one.
it is.
I love it.
I can't judge. You know, they're all our children, but it is the best one by a mile. And every time I open up like the ad list of like, all right, what's on the docket this week? Every time it's like Kaleidoscopes in Iowa. I just rubbed
Yes!
my hands together. Like, here we go, baby.
And how are you enjoying the sample kaleidoscopes they sent you?
I actually haven't had one, but they shipped one out to the Trivia Tower winner, and then there might be more news on the horizon. Fans of kaleidoscopes, stay tuned. Maybe for our big charity
Okay.
stream coming up in the fall, everybody. Might be a certain
I would love for
prize.
us to tap into the kaleidoscope community.
Oh, it's huge. The Kaleidoscope subreddit, controversial at times, but opinionated and passionate, and that's what we celebrate here. Hey, speaking of passion, I am passionate about a certain studio called Double Fine, and they have released a new game. It's a long, strange journey, but this is a game called Kiln, which is a pottery party brawler. Multiplayer experience is the big pitch for what Kiln is here. And so you're making your pot with a very cool, detailed pot creation system. And then depending on the shape, then it has a different class. And then as Sarah watched me stream and realized it's basically just League of Legends with pots, but a very streamlined, breezy version of it.
Well, it's like I said it was ARAM with pots, and you said what's AROM, and then I decided that it's not worth explaining. But it's one lane. You each kind of have a nexus, a single nexus that's a fire, and your goal is to pick up water on the battlefield and pour it on the other team's fireplace or like kiln, I guess.
Yeah.
To put out the fire, and then whoever puts the fire out first wins. But yeah, all the maps are different, the lanes are different. Each one has gimmicks. I watched Ben play, and in my
Poorly.
opinion, he doesn't get toxic enough.
Right. Well, it's like, being a Double Fine fan, you're used to just like positive single player experiences. Like they've dabbled with multiplayer stuff, like Brutal Legends, stuff like that back in the day, I guess. More co-op stuff in their history. But I think that's it. I don't got that I don't got the toxicity in me. If you pour this pot out, no vials in here. I have no terrible words to say about somebody who pours water on my kiln. I don't really care that much. That seems fine. But I should have been more locked in because Sarah was noticing I could have been helping my team more, I think.
You could have been doing a little bit more.
Yeah. Jenna Garcia, broad thoughts on Kiln here?
Yeah, I played about an hour, partially with Isaiah as well. We both did solo runs and then queued up together. And I really don't think this game is very good. I hate to say, like, it doesn't control well.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to play. It feels like a worse controlling. And I'm not a big fan of wonky physics, so I'll put that caveat out there. Like maybe this is trying to be more in that realm. But I remember playing Fall Guys and that having a bit of slip. Ultimately, why I didn't stick with Fall Guys because I love platformers is because the queue times got like weird for me, and that's why I didn't stick with that game. But this feels like a worse version of that. This feels like all the ideas are there. Like I love what they're doing conceptually. But it kind of just feels like a game made in dreams in terms of like controllability.
Yeah.
It's just not very good. And I really hate to say that because I think Double Fine is generally cool. And I did like their last project, Keeper,
rules,
even though I never finished it because I just didn't lock into it enough.
You should finish it,
But,
Janet. The
yeah,
ending's amazing.
I know. And but I already know how it ends because you told me. But just, like
Yeah,
I was surprised by, even for being a party and like supposed to have a little bit of slip, how unpolished and unwieldy it felt. I didn't have a good time, and I deleted it after I was done, and I'm not going to go back. And Isaiah didn't have a good time either.
And not even Isaiah. I am in that ballpark with you, where like my journey was like, making the pots and the overall presentation. There's this character called Celadon, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't prepared for like, oh, this is like kind of a big production here. All right, this is great. Like it's the best pottery.
Making the pot is cool.
Yeah, like it's the best.
And you unlock more ways to make the pot, which
Yep.
is pretty cute.
And like rotating
I won't
it.
see a lot of those ways, but some will.
They're out there and like slowly rotating and spinning and like lowering it into the different glaze and choosing the color of the glaze and what to, like that stuff is great. Like it's the best pottery making game of all time. And then my issue was just every time I got in a match, I'm like, I just don't think this feels good. Like I aggressively don't care about what's happening here with the simple combat.
Are they going for like a Gang Beasts goofy party thing?
Not so much. It's like it's you control like your wandering around potentially as a big chunky pot, like how tight could that really be for the combat? And I guess like you could say like, well, MOBAs, you're just kind of, forgive my ignorance, just clicking a bit. It's not like we need Devil May Cry combat in here and whatnot. Like it can be simple because I think the charm is like navigating and teamwork and where you're pushing all that stuff. And so to be completely fair, like, you know, you had Isaiah, Janet, like I wasn't playing with a team. Like if I was playing like locked in with a team, I think this game would be a heck of a lot better, but it is.
But will it be good enough? Because better doesn't mean it's good.
No, I think that's fair. And like it's a weird spot of like, oh, it feels like now Xbox's Fat Princess from back on the PS3 or something. Like,
Finally.
yeah, it's the weirdest thing to think about because part of me is like, this feels like a fun little multiplayer game from like 2009. And that's also like the most damning thing you can say about it. And I know it's completely different, but it makes me think of like, everybody played Pragmata and like, this feels like a game from 2009. This is the best thing ever. And now for Kiln, that's a multiplayer angle. It's like, yeah, sorry, 2009. We got to move on here. We don't.
But it's
we don't
about
have
like
time
the
for you.
execution of it, right? Like
Yeah.
I think there is like cool stuff in here, but I think also like I felt very detached from what I was even doing, even though conceptually I do think it sounds cool where it's like, oh, you're protecting your base, which is your kiln. But you're also trying to pour the water out and you like pick up water along the way. And the way the pot shape also, besides the class stuff you mentioned, the impact that the pot has is the health to water you can hold ratio. So if you're very like, I have high HP, but I can't hold a lot of water. So then you can kind of also like strategize in that way.
Yeah.
But nothing, and you can also argue that like I'm not that good at it, which is true. Like I feel like the people I was playing with online seemed like they'd been playing for a while and kind of were a little more capable. Like I only won one match. But it also just wasn't that fun to do. Like
Yeah.
pouring the water didn't feel that satisfying. Another big ding I give on this game is when you hit people, I don't feel the impact at all.
Yeah.
Punching them versus doing like my special with R1 feels kind of the same. Some of the specials also like queue up in weird ways where there's one that's kind of like you kind of become a missile and it shows you where you're going to go. But by the time you launch it, it's like someone kind of probably already dodged that because they can see that you've lined that up. And like the hammers and things work a little bit cleaner for that because you have more of like an AoE. There's some cool little stuff throughout. Like I had the dance floor one. I don't know if you got that one, Ben, where if you hit like the lit up parts of the dance floor, you stop and dance for
Yep.
a bit.
Yeah.
It's like there's cool stuff in there, but it all doesn't really like culminate to what you need, which is like a fun game that has like interesting angles of strats. Like that flow wasn't there.
Yeah.
The fun just wasn't there.
It's no Splatoon.
me.
You know, you want some of that.
And I feel like it wants to be, which is weird because
The
they're totally
music,
different
yeah.
genre. But the way you kind of like pick where you're dropping also just feels weird because it's like you can only drop so far. So it's
Yeah.
like, why do you even have me pick this? And then the kind of overview they do of the area feels very Splatoon. But then also like they don't really tutorialize as much as I think they need to. And I get it's because they want you to get in and not be bored with the tutorial. But then I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's just not have the larger conversation about where Xbox and Microsoft are at right now. But it is like, there's just a part of me looking at this and looking at like new leadership at Xbox overall and just being like, God, I hope this is just a positive little experiment and they get to peacefully move on, you know? But
This
it's
is the first business not eventually crushed by capitalism.
right. It's, they're in an odd spot. But yeah, Kiln, you can check it out there. It's like, $20. It seemed like Steam reviews, like some people are digging it. A lot of people are like, what do you mean there's no local multiplayer? Like that's outrageous that I cannot play this game locally or like have split screen. And so it's got some dings for sure. But
Are they trying to do like live service? Are they trying to give this game seasons or whatever multiplayer game?
they have like a roadmap video out for like, here's what we have for 2026. Here's like everything, new maps. I think like photo modes coming later, stuff like that. And so they're trying to do a light dabbling of that, Leo, a glaze of live service.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is so. What a strange thing to combine pottery, which is, thinking of how many people on Earth are really into the simple satisfaction of pottery and are really into not just competitive games but MOBAs the most, the games that make you hate your life the most. I think it's safe to say it's such a polar opposite.
I agree, but it's also like, it's coming from a place of like, why the hell not? They're not saying watch your ass, Dota. There's a lot of ass stuff in this game, by the way. Like a lot of butts of the pots, which I wasn't expecting. But like it's coming from a sincere place where like back in 2017, they had the game jam, the Amnesia Fortnite game jam. And this was Derek Brand's project. And so like,
Yes.
if you're watching the documentary stuff, like back in 2017, we got to see this 2-week version of this game in development. And everyone's like, oh, that's cool. And like people voted for it in the studio of like, yeah, That sounds like a fun idea. Like pottery game where you get to make pots and then multiplayer thing. That sounds great. And like credit to them that like they chose it and then they doubled down and the studio's like, yeah, we actually want to make that. Like out of all these projects, that one was actually the coolest. And so like it's coming from that genuine place. And now it's just released into this world of like a new head of Xbox and the spotlight of the gaming world shining on them. And it's like, okay, this is a tough, fun little project to be like, all right, Asha Sharma, what do you got? Like, it's not fair to release it in this environment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And despite promising we weren't going to talk about the larger Xbox stuff, I understand we just talked about it. It's tough not to zoom out a little bit there. But speaking of which, there is still the BDS boycott of Microsoft happening. And so there's a link in the description if you want to learn more about that for yourself. Let's see. Villas in the community here, they submitted a quick question. They said, Double Fine Superfan here. I'm wondering, can I make the Massive Chalice from the game Massive Chalice in Kiln? Great question. I don't know. It was weird to me that I tried to make one and it did not register on the screen as a Massive Chalice because Double Fine has a very unique game called Massive Chalice. There has to be a reference in there somewhere that I just haven't found yet. So sorry, Villas. Leo, speaking of very unique game, Moves of the Diamond Hand is out now in early access. You've been playing it. Jacob's been playing a little bit of it.
It's got lots of gambling, so people go ahead and download it. For some reason, it still doesn't have that many reviews, even though it's full of gambling. Can we get on that, guys?
It's gambling, but it's also a bunch of like dice rolls to get there. Maybe people turned off by like the D&D dorkiness or the look of it or something, you know?
I will say, if you thought the Baldur's Gate 3 had too many dice rolls, this game is like your nightmare from like the 10th circle of hell.
In several ways. Yeah, the art style is the wildest thing maybe about this game overall. And then the fact that like I started it up, booted it up, and it's like, all right, choose your difficulty, very cheeky difficulty settings, and then choose your dice color. It's like, wait, what type of game is this? I thought it was going to be just wacky first-person game, but it's much, much more RPG focused than I thought going into this thing.
Yeah, it's just that every single interaction is rolling your dice.
Right.
Your dice that are set for each skill, cooking, wit, strength, physique, you know, and you when you level up, you spend a certain amount of points to take your die from having all zeros to having a 1 to having a 2 to eventually having 7s and 8s that you could roll and balancing. Do I have just 1 8 and I try to like use items that help me make sure I can get it every time, or do I have this bed of safe 3s that are reliable? And every single roll gives you some points to level that up. So every single interaction you do, you can choose what to put it into. There's no like leveling up. It's just saving up points for one specific giant move from 7 to 8 or whatever.
Yeah. Are you digging it?
Yeah. I really love how much personality it has. There's so many, every single character has their own thing going on. It's so funny looking. And because it's so dice rolly D&D, the actions can be really simple and really strange, and it's just as gameplay rich as anything else. To like try to make a smart comment about a guy's drink he's sipping, that becomes its own gameplay thing that you can, you know, get experience points from. Having that kind of Baldur's Gate-y gamifying the little things, I really do enjoy.
Yeah, it's like
It's surprisingly, like, it doesn't look like it, but it has a surprising amount of depth to it. Because it's like the UI and like the graphics, like it's giving like cream of the Steam game. But then when you start getting into the dice rolls and like the strategy of how you want to roll your dice, and like, you know, you're like, okay, I need to, like, there's like dice debuffs that are really crazy to me. Like every time you do an interaction, like whenever I tie my dice, I get the debuff or like the negative thing that I'm overconfident. So now when I roll my dice, I might get like a -1 on my score because I was overconfident and I tied. So it's like as you go through the game, you get like positive and negative effects. And it's like you're like everything is dice. Every item you pick up is somehow dice related. And you're like, "Oh, I'm going to make a pizza? Surely this won't be dice." You're wrong. The pizza is actually all dice.
It's dice all the way down.
Yeah.
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 It certainly it's a really clever original gameplay system. Certainly there's a lot of room in it to create a narrative about how much it's screwing you over. I had a lot of frustrating dice rolls where it was like, this has 90% good outcomes for me and 10% I don't pass this, and I would keep feeling like I got the 10% over and over again.
I played
Whether
with
that's true or
the not so bad, so it's like a step up into the easiness of normal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and every time I did not so bad, so then I always got like either -2, -1 debuff on the enemy's dice, which I felt made things a lot easier for me. So if you're worried that like your rolls are gonna be bad and that's gonna upset you, they do have, I feel like, really good difficulty scaling in it. So I was very grateful. Like I think that's the only way I was getting through some stuff was because I was on that, like, it's literally called not so bad mode.
It's so good. Yes, the difficulty is from the easiest to the hardest. It's called You'll Be Fine. It's not so bad. It is what it is normal, which I think all normal games should just be.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
it's hard out there, and then the highest is just, oh dear. It's perfect. Like is it reminding you of Esoteric Ebb at all, Sarah? Of just like
It
dice
literally
roll
it did, because you walk in and yeah, it's all dice based, but you walk in and they're also doing an election.
Right.
And I'm like, how many games am I gonna play this thing that you walk in and there's like 3 political candidates, and while you go through the game, you have to like learn the backstory of the political candidates to like navigate this, like the socioeconomicness of this world.
I'm sick of this shallow trend. It's Leo, that's when you were supposed to pick things up out of this screaming match, but it's like
They made this game political.
yeah. It's like it's if you are a fan of like Deus Ex, like the original Deus Ex, and you're looking for even more RPG mechanics, and for them to kind of take that, I don't know, 2000 PC art style and then just pervert it. That's kind of the moves of the Diamond Hand encapsulation, I think.
And it's so open-ended that you're in that, it is definitely a Deus Ex-y city for sure, where you're kind of looking at each corner of it. And especially early on, you're finding the infiltration points of like, I guess maybe with this stat here, I could get over this, and having everything kind of level you up. It's like finding the stuff you can do. And also you technically can do so much stuff that is really, really low odds. And the only consequences for most things are just other debuffs that will make it harder next time. So you can kind of, it feels really like almost unlimited open-endedness, as far as there's a billion decisions available to you at once, and you're just finding the ones that you feel like you can chance.
Yeah, it's funky. So Cosmo D Studios is the name of the developer, and then it's in early access on Steam. Just the first 2 chapters, and then I think they're adding 4 this year. Was that the plan? Do you have any more insight on that, Leo?
No, I don't, because I didn't even know it was chapters. It's so open worldy, and the solo dev stuff is fun. It's just you'll walk to a place and a banner will pop up and you can't walk past it. The banner will just say under construction, or a character will say, "The guy hasn't written the words for me yet." I just find
I
it
love
endearing.
those. I love those little bits in early access games where they're like, "Sorry, this doesn't exist yet."
I think it's fine. Yeah, just be completely on the nose there. Moves the Diamond Hand, name of that game there. I was so excited about this. inKONBINI. One store, mini stories is the name of the game. Because like realizing just when podcasts line up perfectly, where I was like, oh my God, Snap and Grab releases the same time as the 007 First Light embargo. That's Hitman Experiences. That'll make a nice little package. And then inKONBINI's coming out. Sarah will be on. And the name of the studio is Nagai Industries, which is a Shenmue reference. And this game is Shenmue as all hell. And Sarah's now the world's #1 Shenmue fan. This is all lining up perfectly. This game, I played at GDC years ago. And the idea is you are managing a konbini little convenience store in Japan that your aunt owns, runs, and you're helping out in a big way. But like the magic is the detail of like, if you love Japanese convenience stores and you love being able to pick up every object on a shelf and slowly rotate it, it is just wave after wave of like granularity. Going over to the magazine shelf and realizing, oh my God, I can pick up and rearrange all of these magazines individually. If that is your specific flavor, and I'm screaming to you Shenmue freaks out there, like inKONBINI is in theory up your alley. But I'm curious, Sarah and other folks that got to check it out, what do you all think about inKONBINI so far?
Yeah, as a self-proclaimed, #1 Shenmue fan of MinnMax.
Yeah, please.
I was surprised. I didn't know about the Shenmue comparison before I started playing it. And then when I noticed it afterwards, I was like, really? Like, I get that it's a convenience store and you can pick things off the shelf and then put them down.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it didn't really feel that Shenmue-y to me. Because I think Shenmue, it's like about the vibes of the location. And because you're kind of stuck in this convenience store the entire time, there is no like going out on the town and like seeing what people are doing. There is no like flow of like you don't feel other people's lives around you as much in inKONBINI, which isn't a bad thing. Because people do come in, like the way the game flows is you're sort of taking over this night shift from your aunt, and you come in and you kind of do your job of like arranging the shelves, making sure the products are in the right locations, making sure if there's any
what
notes.
the day shift messed up.
Literally fixing what the day shift leaves you notes, and they're like, hey, we need you to like rearrange the sale shelf. Like put these products on the sale shelf. Like it's very calm work, like it's not very stressful. And then like characters will come in and they'll you kind of get a sense of like what their story is and like the depth to it. But yeah, you definitely, I feel like I was sort of like their therapist, and like you only see your clients in the office, you know? So it's like, I only see the characters when I'm working at the convenience store, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it wasn't giving me like the big bite that I wanted.
Yeah, it's less experiencing a city or experiencing the life less than it is experiencing the job. Like the job is really well realized.
Yeah. And so you're trading off for that granularity of how deep can you zoom in. But like it's interesting to see like how they kind of can gate progress and have a larger game here when it's just one little store. But it's stuff like, okay, you can go in the back room, dig through all the shelves, but then being like, okay, some of these back room like closets are locked. So that's going to be a thing that's going to unlock later, so I can learn more about probably my relationship with my aunt and what's going on here, and maybe some relationship to customers and stuff. So like it's fun to see how they can try and stretch this out instead of just here's a 15-minute simulation of rotating some Japanese snacks on a shelf and setting it down.
Yeah, and then like people come in and they'll ask you for like help purchasing things, and I feel like you kind of have an option to like give them like a good suggestion or a bad suggestion. Like that guy that comes in and he's like, I need my hyperallergenic food for my cat, but I don't know which one it is. Like you could give him the wrong one. I wouldn't, but like I guess you could. So there's a little bit of like a puzzle aspect to it too.
Yeah.
And you like get to know the people in town. The one thing that sort of like bothers me right away is while this game is set in Japan and the characters, like when it's voiced, they speak Japanese. All of the writing on all of the products isn't Japanese. It's like a fake language. And so like I don't want to sound like I'm up on some kind of high horse, but like
get up there.
It was so jarring. It took like it low-key made me mad because I'd be looking at something and it looks like it should be Japanese. It has Japanese characters on it. But it's like if you were reading English and the word book is upside down and backwards. And I don't understand why you wouldn't just put it in Japanese.
Probably
like,
they're not a Japanese developer?
It's not. It's a guy living in Japan who isn't Japanese, but it's like I feel like you live in Japan, you should at least like I don't know, like put it in Japanese.
I wonder if it's like
weird.
fear of like I don't want to get something wrong, you know? Like it's a whole layer of localization.
But here's the thing. I love when Japanese games get English wrong on products. You know? Like in Shenmue, there's literally a magazine that just says poo on it in English. It's just poo. And I'm not sitting here going like, hey developers, like you put poo on this magazine, but I don't think you realize like that's actually, you know, that's poop. You know, that's what we call poop. But it's like, it just feels weird why you wouldn't just, like, even basically put, like, bread. Like, just put, like, pan or something. Or, like, koda. Like, you could just put really basic labels. So it's like, that kind of, like, it, like, weirded me out. Eventually, the more I played it, the more I just stopped looking. But it was really annoying looking at the shelves, trying to read what the products are. And then being like, oh, wait, I can't read it. I have to click on it and press A and then read the description of it.
It is weird. Yeah, so it is. I think I talked to the lead at GDC years ago, and I'm trying to remember. He had some story about like how he actually went to go work at a konbini store in Japan for like a month or something to like fully understand and dive into the role, if you will. It's like a level of commitment. And so I wonder if it is that level of like, I don't know, not wanting to put, I don't know, just wanting to be as respectful as possible without like having the indie budget for nailing it completely and worrying about one thing being off, but who knows? Janet, did you have thoughts on inKONBINI?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Sarah, because that's something I wouldn't have noticed without you pointing it out, and that is like weird, especially in a game where like the point is the details of it. Like that is very odd and definitely like a big ding against it. Other than that, I enjoyed my time with this game quite a bit. I'm pretty early though. I'm on like day 2. It kind of has like a day shift cycle. I will say I'm curious for the rest of you. Were you able to like successfully help some of these customers? Because I feel like I'm gonna get fired at this job because the guy who's like only nods or shakes his head, he's like, I want something for my face or maybe my mouth, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, how about this mouthwash? And then my character's like, he took the mouthwash, but I know it's not what he wanted. I was like, how was I supposed to know? Am I missing like an aspect? But I also kind of do like that element of getting better at the job as you go, because that is what would be true of the character. But like, how bad am I at this job? Did you guys have?
From what I read about the game, you really can't like fail. But it's one of those games where it's like there's probably a high level of replayability. So you're like, what you were supposed to do, Janet, is the day shift accidentally put what he wanted in the wrong location. It's in the refrigerator. And you were supposed to read that note, and the day shift's like, we were swamped and like we just put stuff everywhere. Like, so, you know, you're going to find some things in weird places. And what he wanted was like in the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator, does it say like his name on it or something?
No, I think it was just like toothpaste.
You would just
So
have to
weird.
literally go over it and notice, like, this doesn't make sense to be here.
Yeah.
I feel like I read those notes, but I must have missed it, obviously. But like, it is weird because the game area is not that big, but I feel like I sometimes am missing stuff in weird ways. But
detailed, yeah.
overall, I enjoy the fixing of things. I think that's like probably my favorite element because I wasn't expecting it. Like, there's a chair untucked from a table, and you can walk by and like slide it back in, and I'm like, oh, that feels really good. And I like the it's not wildly narrative. Like, the narrative is not like an incredible narrative, but it's just enough that I'm like intrigued and enjoying it. Like, I think sometimes in these games, the narrative is even thinner, and then it feels like, you kind of just put this in here because you knew you needed a story. Like, I do like how there's little through lines from like the workers' notes or like the customers that come in, and then you can like, there's the guy who's beefing with the aunt, and you can call your aunt later and like say like, what's up with this guy? And then you can choose, do you want to like snitch and say he came in? Do you like, you know, like he asked you not to tell her, like, do you do that? Like, I like those little elements of it. And like going around and like being rewarded for like combing over things carefully and also scanning the items at the checkout. That's like very, very enjoyable. And they know that because they like at one point the character mentions like, isn't this so like nice and relaxing to scan items? And I'm like, y'all knew what you were doing, having me scan these items, because it is nice.
I was kind of taken back by that too, where it's like, I forgot how much I love like stocking shelves. But like, you know, my first real job was like at a grocery store for 2.5 years. And that was always like the best part. Is like, let me just go tidy up shelves. This is going to be so fun. See what people have put where accidentally, and it's like getting a wave of nostalgia for that. This is very satisfying.
And it's surprising, like, the way you stock the shelves, like, customers will comment on it. Because, like, they're not really explicitly clear on where everything goes. So while the days go on, it's kind of like a puzzle, and you just have to memorize where things are showing up. And then on one day, I didn't know where the rice went. So I put the rice with the non-perishables, like the canned foods. Because I was like, well, it's like it's a non-perishable, put it here. And then, like, a customer walked by, and they were like, that's crazy that you put the rice here. You obviously did it on purpose because it's right next to the curry. So it's like, you want people to look at rice and then buy curry with it. And I'm like, and he's like, that's weird that you wouldn't put it on the cooking shelf. And I was like, yeah, that's what I was doing.
True.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
But I think if you're looking for like a slow game, a relaxing game, I would definitely check this one out, because like that's what it's about, right? It's about just like the slowness of it.
And it's almost a little refreshing that you are just an employee versus this is my shop and I've got to do all the ordering myself.
Yeah, and you're also only there for a week, right? Like, the narrative is that you're only taking over your aunt's shift for like a week, and you're like the game kind of hits you over the head with the narrative of like taking joy in the small, simple things in life. And they keep saying like, oh, you think like a Konbini worker's job is so simple, but like you can really make a small change. You can be like the small ripple, and they're like, bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, no, stay, get it, stop.
Think about it. Think about it.
Not everybody's got the Yakuza sub-story wisdom in them.
I need the music from the side story in a Yakuza game from the quest
Right.
to really drive it in. But yeah, so it's $20. It's released on everything, and I think it just has a nice warm like tone to it. Like, I think it looks really soothing too. But that's inKONBINI.
And the art on all the packages is so good. I just want
Yeah.
to say, like, just the art. I wish there was just Japanese on it.
Yep.
It's weird that there's not.
I get it for sure.
Yeah, that is very strange. Maybe it'd be nice if they fix that, because that is
That's a
weird.
lot to fix.
I'm like kind of hung up on it because I didn't notice. And I was like, Damn, that's like kind of messed up. One thing that I thought was really fun, again, I'm very early, was I was taking I took a couple L's on day one, and I said day two I'm locking in, and I was like really spending time in the store, going above and beyond, like putting the magazines with the same, like when they're duplicates but they don't fit, it's like deciding how I want to layer them and doing all of that. And I was taking a while in the game, you know, sort of like a lot of games kind of prompt, like reminds you to make sure you're not just like lost. It's like, like, should I open the store yet? Like, am I ready to flip the sign? You know, and it's like, oh, I'm not. So I kept playing. And this also might just be scripted. Like, this might just be like default day two person coming in. But I was like dead because when I walked towards the door finally, after like working on it for like 15 plus minutes, there was like someone at the door with like their face pressed against the thing. And I'm like, oh my God, can you chill the hell out? So it's like, yeah, I'm the stressed out retail worker, I guess, in the thing. I was like, please. Which it's also funny just because I don't know, I've also had that moment in my life where I happen to be there when the store opens, and it is like, it's super awkward having to be the person that's like, I don't want to grief the people working inside, but I'm also like sort of, you know, face pressed against the glass myself. So I thought some of those little details are really cool as well.
Yeah, for sure. Where did Love Eternal come from? Where does love come from? Like Leo, you jumped into it. Janet, you played it earlier this year. How did I miss this game entirely? Atmospheric 2D platformer is the easy genre, but there seems like there's a lot more going on.
Psychological horror, 2D
Psychological horror is a better way to put it.
Evil Within by way of Sping.
Ooh, interesting. Because for me, what got me is like, you know, you guys said you want to talk about it. And so jumping in, I had no idea what to expect. And then right when it started, I was like, oh my God, it's, atmospheric horror take on VVV. If you remember that kind of Metroidvania from 2010, where the big hook is you press a button to invert the gravity. And so you're flying up or flying down, and it's really tough platforming. And so like that fusion of atmospheric horror storytelling with that basic gameplay is like, this is exactly what I want to have on my Steam Deck. I am so locked in on Love Eternal now. Because you just went back to it, Leo? Or like, how did it come across your radar again? Because it came out in February.
My boy Kobesoft Joe and I started Steam family sharing.
Oh.
And it was top of the
Nice.
list from him.
Hell
And I
yeah.
randomly tried it because it looked interesting. Because it clearly has a lot of personality, and I'm really vibing with it. Really tough platforming for sure, but really generous checkpoints for most of it, where you're like, it is just this one challenge that I'm focusing on over and over again, and the level of locking in rewarding you is there. The level of really trusting how it feels, almost in a way where it has to go before your decision-making mind.
Yeah.
Is really rewarding.
But it's funny because you don't like jumping in no games. So I would not think of this as a Leo game, but it just has so much personality that's enough to bring it over the top.
This year is about breaking down my interests and reforming them completely.
Oh, wow. So you could play Saros and learn to love dodging.
Probably. I like Returnal.
Oh, hey, it's a new leaf for everybody. Janet, where are you at for Love Eternal overall?
Yeah, I had been following this game for a really long time. So I'm pretty locked in on the platformer scene, and I did flag this before it came out, saying that like, I love this game. You guys got to play it. I'm really into it. Will anyone play this? And then I beat the game and said, guys, don't even freaking worry about it because I know y'all weren't gonna play it anyway. I am torn on this game. It's kind of a rough one for me. It's a sensitive issue for me, Love Eternal.
Okay.
I think the beginning of this game is incredible. It is such a good hard platformer. If you like hard platformers, you will love this. Unless you just hate gravity inversion for some reason. But I feel like most people that like hard platformers enjoy gravity inversion because it's a very common shtick to throw in there. And then the game kind of sprinkles in sort of like the narrative very like softly. It's like you're this young girl, you have your family, and then like something messed up happens with your family where they almost like turn to monsters. You're kind of thrown to an alternate world, and it's not really clear what's happening narratively, but the vibes are very like enticing and eerie, and you do a bunch of platforming. Then it cuts to like a little snippet of cutscene, and it's still like mysterious and strange and disturbing. And I'm like, cool, that's interesting. And they do it in such a great way as well, because you're so focused, like hyper focused on platforming and what you've been doing, that when you go to the next screen, you're not expecting almost like a jump scare to happen.
Yeah.
And that like really enforces where it's like these games are always like playing with heart rate in a way, right? So it's like your heart rate's up from the platforming, then it's up again from the horror, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. Middle of the game, I was like, holy cow, if they land this narrative, this is gonna be like the coolest freaking thing. And then at the end of the game, I said, so it's over? What the hell was all that for? Ultimately, I think this is a great platformer, but the story felt like too specific to get away with how vague it ended up being, so that it became like really disappointing to me, where ultimately I don't recommend the game because it is kind of so narrowly disappointing. And frankly, they kind of stop. You don't platform as much in a lot of parts of this game.
Interesting.
Like they kind of do like, and at first it's kind of cool, but then it's like, it's cool if you do something with this. And I just feel like ultimately they didn't do enough with it. Like so much, like I love this game for like probably up until maybe the last like hour or 45. It's not a very long game to begin with.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, they really, in my opinion, they really fumbled what they did with it. And I think they also have the sin of like, and I know this is going to sound kind of like jaded and bitter, but I think if you know, you know, I've played, and all of us have played like lots of, you know, games, largely in the indie space, that take creative swings, that play with genre, that are doing funky things. I feel like this is a game that maybe tried to get away with applause for like the novelty of the moment. It's like, you weren't expecting me to do this thing. Isn't this cool? And I'm like, it's cool if you're doing something with it. What do you have to say? Why are we doing this? And they're like, 'cause it's interesting. And I'm like, was it? Because I didn't really walk away with anything.
I'm so surprised. If this game just keeps like this level of platforming up, which it seems like it changes up how much platforming there is later on and stuff. Like, I don't think I'd be shocked to see like where this story could go, where I'd be super disappointed. Because like, unless it's like really obnoxious in your face about it, it just feels like I'm not that invested in the larger story at this point, you know, like still the early phases of this thing, but it ramps up the
You
story.
won't get
is what you're saying.
invested.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of in to me, like to their to compliment like the aspects of it that were good narratively, is it starts off like pretty kind of vague, like just, you know, vibes, dad looks like a spider, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then it kind of starts to zoom in more on like, hey, what's going on in this world? Who are some other characters? Again, I'm not gonna spoil it. So who are some other characters? There's a little bit of like this narrative loop aspect, and it intrigued me, which is good. Like it got my attention. It was being interesting. It was showing me things that were new and felt informative, but then it didn't really end up going really anywhere to me.
Sure.
And maybe for other people it'll hit different, or they feel like, no, I feel like the mystery is part of it. Like you're not meant to really know. Like I do think that analysis is valid, but for me, that's what I mean by it got too specific to get away with being vague. I think if it just did what it did in its first like hour or two, where they're like,
Right.
hey, we're mostly platforming and we're throwing in some like kind
That's
of
what I
funky
want.
story stuff.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool. They don't do that, which also could have been cool because they were doing some like really interesting, like trippy stuff. But then they kind of just like, I don't know, they didn't really land that plane
Okay.
for me. So
All
I
right.
would love to know what y'all think when you get to the end of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm super curious. I'll still try.
Yeah, for sure. Love Eternal, name of that game. It's $10 out there. Janet, did you ever play VVV?
Funnily enough, no, I really need to.
Yeah,
and
you
people say
should.
it's like really, really great. So, and easier than this also, which is kind of.
Oh, interesting. I'd love to see because
Nice.
like VVV it kicked my
Oh.
ass back in the day.
I feel like most people have told me that it's easier than this, but maybe that's
it
not
might
true.
be.
I was honestly thinking if Ben Hansen beats this, it'll be the hardest game he's ever beaten.
Oh, sh-
Whoa.
okay.
The final thing I will say,
Wait,
the
can we
final
make a
thing
tier
you
list
do
of
in
hardest
it,
games Ben's ever beat? I need
Check
to
the stream
see-
archives. Elden Ring. Hello. No baby game here.
No, there's not. That's
Sure.
not on the stream
I
archives.
think
that you
it's
can
up
beat it on
there.
stream.
I think there's a stream called Ben Beats Elden Ring, so you
I
have
don't,
the question mark
remember
on it. I think that counts.
Once again, was I had my content, Ben, but not that piece. You also robbed me of that.
Uh-huh.
Along with the Spain trip, you also robbed me of watching me finish Elden Ring.
Robbed.
it gets
I get to
really
the new show
freaking hard.
plus.
The last thing you do is platforming, and like one of the last things you do is platforming, and it's very, very hard.
Okay.
And I played like a bunch of hard platformers, and I'm very good at platformers. Not to say that you're not, but
I'm not.
yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But again, if you like that kind of thing, you'll really like that aspect.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll
It
check
also
it out.
hits a little bit of that puzzle platformer a bit too, because at a certain point there is a lot of, I don't know how far y'all are, but you're not just doing the gravity flips and trying to gain flips by breaking like, there's like a red gem you get to like
Yeah.
refill your flip meter, but you're also like hitting switches to like change lasers and stuff sometimes. And they throw a little bit of checkpointing in, so it's not, I think they hit a really good balance. Like I don't think it's too hard by any means, but there's definitely some gnarly parts of it for sure, which are enjoyable.
Yeah. Right on. Speaking of spooky atmospheric stuff, this just dropped today as of the time we're recording, and I wanted to unpack it a little bit. But they're making a new Resident Evil movie that's coming out later this year. And you might be wondering, why is that a big deal? They made 300 Resident Evil movies, and then they tried to reboot it a couple years ago with Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which was like, let's throw in as much of an adaptation as we can of like Resident Evil 2 and 3 and have like as many homages and stuff as possible. I didn't mind that movie, but I know a lot of people really hated it. But they're making a new Resident Evil movie that is launching later this year on September 18th, apparently. But the twist this time around is that the director and co-writer is Zach Cregger, who wrote and directed Barbarian and Weapons and like, coming off the heels of award-winning film Weapons. And now like the next movie that he's tackling is a Resident Evil movie. I am so excited about it. And I'm especially charged because like I didn't watch Weapons until the flight back from Spain because I just don't watch that many horror movies. And every time I do, I kick myself. Like, I am enjoying this experience so much. This movie is so good. What am I
I
scared
feel like
of?
watching a horror movie on a plane is one of the most like psychotic things I can think of.
I think it's beneficial.
Sarah, you don't want to know the UMDs I'm bringing
For
on the
sure.
Chicago trip I have coming up because I literally am bringing almost exclusively horror films.
It's the way to watch it because like as someone who's a big scaredy cat, it lowers
Can't
the
get you in the air.
Yeah,
Can't get you on the
screen's
plane.
little.
yeah, it's a
So
screen.
it's like, oh, it's
that's
only
just-
so big.
Yep, and there's like glare
Oh.
coming off it, looking to the window. Somebody has their shade open across the way, lights coming in. It's like you're diminishing the scares by 30% out of the jump,
That's so true. You convinced me, but I do feel bad for the person who's like sitting behind you that can see a sliver of your screen and they're like, "What the heck?"
And that's the thing is like Jacob's like, I don't know.
Established dominance though on the plane. No, I like it.
Right.
But Jacob's like, I don't know, they might like censor and something. But it's like, if that was censored, I don't know what is going on. Like, there's some gnarly
And
stuff.
were you on the plane with Jacob? No, right?
Well, he didn't want to sit by me, so I had to sit.
Why is it because
separately.
when you sit next to them on a plane, you force them to watch the same movie as you and press start at the
Force.
same time?
He
so you
turned
can...
his back at me. I said like, hey man, it's your call. It's a long trip. We don't have to sit next to each other. I get it. But I was like, but I do obviously want to watch the new James L. Brooks movie. And then he was like, we'll see if I I'll let you know if I want to see it. And then I just eventually just watched it by myself like a schmuck.
Wow.
Just turned his back at me. But that's fine, Jacob. That's fine.
And then one tear went down Ben's eye. He's like, it was really hard to watch because my eyes were watery and I
Yeah, it
couldn't
was
see
a mess.
anything.
So it was Ella McKay and Weapons back to back. But Leo, you're a Zach Cregger fan. Do you have thoughts on where he's taken Resident Evil?
I just said earlier I don't care about marketing anymore.
However,
Wow, Leo,
You're really like a new
so enlightened.
person.
You're so enlightened now, Leo. Wow, I wish I could be like you.
The confessional boot's gonna go so hard this year. With all your new like horror that you're farming right now.
I think it looks cool. There's very little Resident Evil-y in it
Yeah.
in the trailer, which I don't mind. I trust certainly that Zach Cregger is a real fan of the material, wanted to make it, is good at making this type of movie. I'm super stoked on it.
It's funny to think of like, it seems like maybe there's some hardcore Resident Evil fans that are pissy, but I'm just amazed by like, hey, it's a big video game adaptation that's coming out this year, basically has nothing to do with the games, and gamers are like, huzzah, perfect. Like, it seems like it's being celebrated for that, when normally it's the complete flip. And I'm trying to think about like this versus like the Elden Ring movie with Alex Garland and stuff, where people are so worried about how quote unquote faithful it's going to be, what story they're trying to tell in that universe.
Well, I think there's just so much Resident Evil, right? Whereas like there's only one Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So people want to see like a faithful adaptation of Elden Ring because we don't get to really dabble in it in a lot of other ways. But in terms of like Resident Evil, like it's been done and done and done again, that I feel like people are willing to open themselves to more of like a fresher, less, I don't know. Is this the first Resident Evil movie where the main character hasn't been someone from a game or like someone who's supposed to be adjacent to someone in a game?
Well,
because
no,
it's
'cause
giving Ethan Winters, like main character Ethan Winters.
He does
vibe,
kinda
like, just some
feel.
guy, who's kind of just like, uh-oh, the residents are evil.
It is an residents are evil type of guy. Because like the main Resident Evil film series, like, she was, I don't even remember what her name was, but she wasn't from the games necessarily. And like they eventually had like, hey, Jill's showing up in the movies and stuff like that. But so that's a little bit different. But like, so where it's taking place is like, it is like outside of Raccoon City, but technically taking place around the same time frame as like Resident Evil 2. But it's like, I don't know, T-viruses everywhere. Here's an excuse for a bunch of mutated zombies and weird crap. And it's interesting because like listening to like the Big Picture podcast, I had an interview with Zach Cregger a while ago and he was talking about it. And it seems like such a healthy spot for an adaptation for a game, because his attitude is like, he's like, yeah, I wanted to make kind of like a fun horror film that's like a character trying to get from point A to point B, and they go through like a bunch of adventures and wacky stuff along the way. He very much framed it as like, this is just like my fun, silly movie I want to do. I want to get out of my system. And so there was conversations with Capcom about like, is this going to be a Resident Evil thing? And he's like, honestly, take it or leave it. Like if they said no, I don't care. I'll still make the movie exactly the same way, except maybe I'll have like some of the monsters look a little bit different, but that's it. And so from Capcom's perspective, it's like, yeah, like one of the best filmmakers going right now, like of course they would want to attach the license to it and still have it be this loosey-goosey thing. So it's coming from like a place of, it didn't need to be a Resident Evil movie. And if they want to shake hands on it, that's cool. And just feels healthy because of that. It's weird.
And maybe if people are especially open to it hot off of 9, which was enough fan service to keep your tummy full for years, there's room to experiment.
Yeah, it could be. But there was a PlayStation blog interview with the director, and they asked him, you know, like, hey, if you could meet any Resident Evil character, who would you want to meet? And he said, quote, if I was stuck in my movie and I could pick any Resident Evil character to help, I would bring Leon Kennedy, because I would just bear hug myself around him, close my eyes, and let him protect me.
Exactly. That's the
Is
perfect
this still about the movie,
answer.
He's like, what? Sorry, what were we talking about again?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know.
That's right. Yeah, but it's weird. Like you talked about in the interview, like he's like, I want it to feel like the games. Like this character is going to start out with a pistol, then they're going to get a shotgun, then they're going to end up having an MP5. He's like structuring everything. Like I want it to feel like a game, even if it's not an adaptation of any game. But I want it to feel like you're going on that journey.
The most gamey thing I feel like is in that teaser trailer, which we shouldn't care about because Leo already established that, is
this discussion.
Yeah, who knows? We'll find out when the movie comes out. No, but there's a moment where he reaches for like the keys from like a corpse, and then it gets like dragged away. That felt like very both Resident Evil and video gamey to me. But I'm on the side of most people, which is convenient. But first time ever on the side of most people. Nice. Yeah, it's a good feeling. But yeah, that I think make it not super gamey. I think it just ends up being a tough spot because it's just, games just treat narrative differently because of the medium. Like it makes sense, like why that happens. So it also makes sense to like switch things up. And I think if you're trying too hard to like replicate something, you're like just inevitably going to fail because like, I mean, think about how we talk about games here. Like so much of it is like not necessarily just what the game does, but our specific experience playing it. While like if we're all sitting in a theater, that's one experience. Sure, we have different opinions and we bring different things to the, our lives before we sat down. But ultimately, it's not like there's not a lot of variety unless someone like, I don't know, gets up to use the bathroom during it and they miss a scene or something. But other than that, it is the same thing.
Yeah.
Glare on the plane noted, but it's mostly the same thing.
Please don't forget that part. Yeah. So we'll talk more. It seems like one that, of course, we're going to do a Max spoilers about when it comes out and stuff. So brace for impact on that front. Hey, Leo, do you know how this whole thing operates?
Oh.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Oh, boy, do I. It's almost like it's all I think about at all waking and sleeping hours. It's patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, everybody. And if you want to go there, find the tier that's right for you, I encourage it. Find something that's sustainable for you. But also, if you jump in, very soon, not only do you get that Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection Steam code, but also if you want to put an image on the slideshow, the supporter slideshow right here in the middle of every MinnMax video throughout the month, if you jump into that $50 tier, you can put an image on there. It's going to be seen about 1 million times as it rotates around. So $50 to put any image of your choice in there. Small business, highly encouraged. Indie developers, go ahead and put something in there. It's not going to impact whether or not we talk about it, but we'll let you know if we do talk about it, if it's in there. Instagram, picture of your pet, loved one, inside joke, $50, get something seen 1 million times throughout a month. Jump in at patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. Jump into the supporter slideshow tier. Let me know if you have any questions about how that whole thing works. Just like I'll tell you how this whole thing works, it's the good folks at I Am 8-Bit. They have so many wonderful things in their wonderful online store, including the Super Mario Galaxy movie soundtrack. The vinyl soundtrack you can pre-order now in their wonderful online store. And they have compact discs, they have cassettes, whatever version, format you want for the Mario Galaxy movie soundtrack, which is truly fantastic. I got chills listening to certain songs in that movie in the theater, and so I cannot wait to run this vinyl at home. Spin it up, as they say. But if you're not interested in that, they have a ton more things in their wonderful online store. You can go there and use the promo code Strawberry Fields. Strawberry Fields throughout the month of May for 10% off of everything in their online store, not including pre-orders or Atlas material. But go there. They have great content. They're selling great things. They have great partnerships. If you're a dork who likes video games, you owe it to yourself to go to iam8bit's wonderful online store. Help support iam8bit because they support the MinnMax community in a big way by shipping out a prize each and every week to whoever submits the best question on Patreon. If you're a supporter at even the $2 tier, you can submit questions. We choose our number one favorite, and that person wins a prize. And this week, that person wins the Bomb Rush Cyberfunk vinyl soundtrack shipped to your darn house, thanks to iam8bit. Y'all ready for these hot questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Victor has... Leo, how much Hot Ones are you watching these days?
Been a long time.
Yeah. What do you think that is? You think you just got sick of the format?
No, it's like a lot of things where if it's just always available to me, why would I reach for it?
Yeah, but if it went away, it'd be like, oh, these are the golden
Playing hard
days.
to get.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great still, right?
It's still good. I feel like I almost got like burned out from the Conan episode being so good. And I'm like, what's another celebrity gonna do? Go like, oh, it's hot. Like compared to like the energy and mania that he brought, like no one can impress me with how they react anymore. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. Anyways,
Right.
Victor Hensley says, Leo, will you please stop talking about Hot Ones? No one cares. I've been following along with Janet's dive back into Silk Song's third act. It even inspired me to hop back into Act 3 myself after falling off months ago. Got me curious, how often do y'all revisit unfinished games from the previous year's 210s at MinnMax? Given the nature of the job, do you ever feel the pressure to always play new releases because games from last year don't count towards this year's GOTY discussions? Great question, Victor. I do feel like this is the right crew for going back, though.
No, but I only like this question because I want you to literally call Jeffem and ask him if he's played Expedition 33 yet.
Oh.
Because he was adamant that he was going to play Expedition 33.
But the
ending
Pope told him he
told
had to have
them,
the ending
though.
spoiled.
So maybe he like sacrificed himself.
He told the Pope, though, he was like, I'm still going to play it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Well, you gotta
then it has to be true.
impress the Pope.
Everyone lies
Does
to
he
the Pope.
does he remember that he said that though? Because I'd be saying anything, and then I'm like, who said that?
Yeah, I mean...
I did go back to the altars.
Did you?
Okay.
Nice.
I did.
Way to go. Yeah, I feel like the three of you out of maybe the entire group are like going back to stuff, you know, just like, that may follow my instincts. Like, I don't know, Janet, I'm looking at you like, we went back and diving into Silk Song in such a huge way.
Yeah, I mean, I did do that for work. We did Spoilercast on Remap. Also, it's been very sweet. People telling me like, you've inspired me to go back. But then I got further in, and that thing gets so hard. I'm like, oh my god, I sent all these people to die. So that is kind of a fun. But then I left that. It was Coral Tower. Just leave if you can't do it. You can do other things. Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, it's kind of playable again. Thank God, because I started feeling kind of guilty. I think I really only go back to stuff either totally naturalistically, like, hey man, I'm in the mood to play this. I'd like to dip into it, or through my stream. Like I haven't done it in a while, but I have a sub series where I'm trying to play games that are slightly outside my wheelhouse that like my chat would like to see me play. And one of those games was Outer Wilds. So I played that for the first time, years ago, but after it was on 210s. And then I went back for Echoes of the Eye as well. And one con, though, of going back to a game from the 210s is, I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel like immense kind of guilt where it's like, granted, Echoes of the Eye didn't do a lot for me because I'm not that good at like Outer Wilds, but it would have been, it's like, I feel like I like showed up too late. It's like, if I did this earlier, I could have talked to Sarah.
Yes.
But I didn't.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
And it's weird because it almost gives me this feeling of like, almost like I'm a time traveler stuck behind the bookshelf, and I'm like, no,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts I could say to you, like, So like, I don't know. Do you guys feel guilty, or is that just like me being like a little emotionally insane?
No, I feel like I have guilt too, and it almost makes it so I'm less likely to go back to a game if it was on the 210s.
Yes.
Because sometimes I'm just slow, and it's hard to commit to all these like AAA like 50-hour games, but I'm like worried, like what if I pick it up and I liked it? And yeah, I wasn't there, and then once again I'm screaming through the fabric of time, like, no!
It deserved to be number 7, not number 9. It's just like, good classic gamer
Exactly. It's like,
discussions.
what are we doing here? I'm an idiot.
We were wrong.
I don't find myself feeling too guilty. I feel like the best outcome is I end up really liking it, and then I can go to that person and say, that actually was really good. Good call talking about that.
You're right.
Well, the worst is like when it's a game you recommended, like when I did like Case of the Golden Idol, and nobody had played it, and then afterwards like everyone came up to me and they were like, "You were right, Sarah. That was actually a really good game."
Oh, that's
and then it's
another
like
one that I
me
feel
punching
guilt
a
for.
drywall like a white man, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
why? Where were you? Where were you when I needed you?"
That one was painful. That one hurt. I'm not gonna lie, especially because Case of the Golden Idol, like it's so humiliating. Like you could play that game for not a long amount of time and know what's going on in it, and it's like, I don't know, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to. So yeah, it's weird because it's like I showed up for you late, and that feels worse than not showing up at all.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's like, oh, so you could have done it, you could have been there, but you weren't.
Just
Where were you, Dad? I'm like, I was at the bar, son. I didn't go to your baseball game.
Considering showing up for me, they can do it at any time. It's not a point where I'll speed us up
I know,
or
but I'm
whatever.
really busy
She's
right now,
unstuck in
Leo,
time.
and that's what I hate about myself.
No, Sarah, I was thinking about you recently, for the first time in my life, where, because talking about Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood for so long in Spain, and I was like, I know we talked about it on the podcast, trying to find a win, and it's like, oh, it's Sarah fighting for it in 2023's 210. So I went back and like watched that discussion, and it's not like, no one was dismissive for the record, but it's like, that seems
Yeah.
great. I wish a lot more people would have gotten to it, and now it's like, God, I want to just, if I could pause time, I would love to just play through Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood because it seems so freaking sweet.
You just kind of like, you can only convince people of so much, right?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of hit a wall of just like, well, I haven't played it. You hit the I haven't played it wall. At least I feel like it's happening to me less and less because I've started my campaigns earlier and earlier.
Right.
Where it's like if I find a game, I tend to campaign for it for a really long time.
Right.
I thought you
But
said your
yeah,
strategy was just to go radio silent so that nobody could poo-poo your
No,
games
that
at
didn't
risk.
work either.
Okay, you
That's
can't
only
win.
if I think people won't like a game.
Right.
Wait, so what's on the campaign trail now? Because I feel like I have missed the flyers.
No, I'm having like kind of a hard time this year, you guys. I keep just playing old games
Yeah.
and liking
This
those
feels a
more
little.
than modern
It feels
games.
a little quieter so far. Like there's great games out, but like when I'm trying to make my top 10 list, as I like start pretty early, it's like I got like a bunch of 8s fighting for the number 1 slot, and I'm like, I kind of almost want to just leave the slot empty because I feel like they haven't revealed themselves yet, and that's only because I don't think I'm playing Slay Aspire because of the early access thing. If I did, that's easy number 1, but
Just
yeah.
yeah, I mean, sorry, are you stuck with Esoteric Ebb? That feels
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
think
the
Esoteric
one.
Ebb is one, but I know I saw Haley pop up and she's playing it. So
Sweet.
if no one's got me, Haley's got me.
Hell yeah,
That's right.
for everything in life. Fancygram, I think this is an interesting question. Maybe it's not. You guys tell me. Chat, you tell me. Fancygram writes in, they say, I know AAA games are taking longer to make. On paper, it seems like a negative. But in reality, isn't it kind of a good thing? People are constantly saying it's hard to keep up with new releases. Do we really want a world where we're constantly inundated with new AAA releases? It's interesting. I mean, I think it's unsustainable game industry wise to have these
Yeah,
games
that's
take
what I was
10
gonna
years.
say. It's good for the consumer, but bad for the industry overall.
It's like it's bad for the consumer, the developers, but I guess technically good for people who are trying to cover all new big games on podcasts,
Yeah.
which is like a very
Right.
people who
specific
like
window.
only need to can only pick
really
up one or two
specific.
AAA. Yeah, a really specific person. Then this is good for them.
Yeah,
We're doing well, and I don't think it matters how everyone else is doing.
yeah. Thank God Naughty Dog isn't releasing a game every 2 years. What hell on earth our lives would be? All these compelling headlines, yucko.
I forgot to say, speaking of which, all this, whatever, little Leo's doing his Hitman Freelancer campaign, 007, you do go up to a wall and press a button and you lift your companion up to the window. So it is eligible for Game of the Year.
Oh, great.
It is a real
Oh.
game.
Oh, thank God. Interesting.
good.
So, Tess writes in. You all ready for this? Again, I want to stress, I've been reading these community questions for over a decade, about 100 every week. And this one I was like, freaking me out. All right. Now that
What
it's
the hell?
appropriately hyped, Tess writes in and says, hey, MinnMax, how many buildings exist where you have been in every room?
Hmm.
Because in my mind, I'm like,
That's
oh, a
fun.
ton. Then I'm like, wait, like friends' houses? I guess probably maybe one of my friends' houses from childhood. But then like closets don't count, right? For hide and go seek and stuff. Like, I guess it would be a factor. But I think closets are out.
Yeah.
Even that, I think it's like on one hand.
And none of my friends have
I
houses.
don't know.
They
I'll
have
go get my
apartments where I haven't
clicker
been
so I
in the
can start
other
thinking.
units.
And is that like upsetting to you? Because I'm thinking like every like skyscraper I've been in, I obviously haven't been in every single room.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if you have. It's only upsetting in that like you think you know somebody, you think you know a building, then you realize I haven't even been in every room of this building. It doesn't even count as knowing it.
It is kind of weird when you stumble into like the liminal spaces of those buildings.
Yeah.
Because one time when I was working at Mattel, I ended up on a floor, and it was just nobody was on it. It was just cubicles and nobody.
Oh God.
And I was like, and this is just here?
And
And that's it? And like, what happened to the 7th floor?
I feel like I can hear the hum of that room as you entered it. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
So what, realistically, I mean, what? The trailer I grew up in, my other house. I mean, 6.
Barns?
What's that, Leo?
Any barns?
Barns are a lock. Okay, barns. Oh, now we're opening up the barn doors, baby.
Ooh,
I bet
Chad
I'm.
mentioned Airbnb. You go into all the rooms when you get that. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
What about when they lock the door to that
Yeah.
one room?
if there's a door
Right,
that's locked,
exactly.
if it's not a closet,
They haven't done that too much to me, but maybe that's y'all specific. They're
Rest assured.
locking the doors up.
I mean, I'm gonna guess
2 of the
realistically,
Airbnbs.
if it was like I win $1 million if I get this right, 17 buildings. Is that nuts?
I don't think like any of my friends as a kid. I did tons of sleepovers at other kids' houses. I never went in their parents' bedroom.
That's the thing. I
You
was
missed
thinking.
Those are
out.
of parents'
all
room.
of them are out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at like 4 right now, as I'm trying to think through my
Weird.
life.
The barns is
Yeah.
the biggest, I think, boost. That's the barn boost. But even then, they have like stalls. Do horse stalls count? I didn't go in there.
I don't think that comes to the room because it doesn't have windows. Like a room needs to have windows.
Egress window for the horse to
Oh.
climb
now
out of. in
now
case
we're going
of
by
fire.
building codes?
Maybe because I guess you can have a windowless room, but I don't.
Yeah, if
I don't
it's
think
a bedroom, it needs an egress window.
Yes,
Mhm.
I think a stall though isn't a room.
Okay.
It's
Porta
the horse's
potty.
room.
Porta
That's
potty.
not a
building?
building though. That's a structure. The porta potty.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah, not quite a building.
Ooh,
Outhouse.
but there's
Outhouse
been, like,
is a
oh,
building.
you know what? Yes. There's been some like, oh, it's the build. But then do you count? Okay, like all of it though, because it's like, is the whole building the building? Because I haven't gone to the men's side, you know.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah.
Wow.
But there have been some bathroom buildings I've gone in. I'm gonna add 3 to that. I'm at 7.
Okay.
It's not a lot, which
it's
is
weird.
funny.
It's weird.
And especially like rented, like I've rented a lot like throughout my life. And it's like obviously I'm not going through the whole apartment building, so like that's auto out. Even my college, it's like my college was super tiny, but I didn't go into every room
course
because
not.
I didn't just go into empty classrooms randomly.
Of course not. Oh, you know who wins
Yeah.
this? Construction workers. They've been in every room
Ooh,
of every
but the room's
house.
not made yet though. Are they there at the end? Now
Final
we're at when is
pass.
a room a room?
I think
Would it be
you know?
like real estate agents? And like it would be
Oh,
real
Definitely
estate
real
agents?
estate agents. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Ooh,
then,
you know
like,
what? I've been
construction
looking at some
workers-
places, and those can go on there. So
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, house shopping.
So
yeah.
Leo and Ben, like and Sarah, like you guys have all
yeah,
done
that's
some form of house
boosted.
hunting.
That's true. I was house hunting for like 2 years. Like that's true. That's a boost.
I go into open houses in my neighborhood, and even though I'm not looking for houses, I'm just nosy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's
We
actually
all-
that is a big boost.
We all went in that big house together.
Oh yeah!
Or-
Did we see every room in that scary Victorian house?
Were there any
we
houses
did.
that were too scared? This is House Hunter Wilds, by the way, on YouTube. If you want to check that out, I think we went to every one. Feels like it.
Yeah, I think we did too.
Sarah, I'm having like some. My bathroom upstairs is leaking like crazy. Yada yada yada.
Oh, no.
It's a whole thing. Basically, it's like we need to renovate the entire bathroom.
Damn.
But
Damn.
have you had this experience? It makes me laugh so much, and I did not expect it as a homeowner. But like anytime somebody comes over to do any work on your house, they lay it on so thick with compliments. It's I guess smart, but I've had like, multiple people that were shopping around a little bit for this bathroom stuff and have multiple people come in and be like, this is a house. Whoa, your neighbors must be so jealous. Like, have you had this at all, Sarah?
I mean, yeah, but with mine, I know they're being truthful. So that's what I'm confused about.
You
Crazy pull.
And this is
Is
really
it because you live in kind of like the Winchester mansion of small
It's like a wonky,
neighborhoods
weird
of a
house.
house compared
Yeah.
to your neighbors? Yeah, you have like additions.
It's a weird house, I guess. So maybe that is making it stand out. But literally, they're like, you can tell that you care so much about your house, whereas other people in this neighborhood don't. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not like the other houses.
That's how people act, and it's like it's a nice way, I guess, to if they know that we're shopping around, like I guess it's a nice way to get a boost in, but I just did not expect it to be like a ass kiss rodeo.
So they walk in and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Well, like literally, I think it was like a plumber that came by like a year ago or something. It was some guy, and I remember he goes like, "Whoa!" He literally said, "This is so much nicer than your neighbor's houses." And I
Damn.
literally, and I
So
said,
I
"Hang on."
guess I could see that they've been.
I'd say
in
name
them.
names.
Well, hang on, Sarah. I
Yeah.
literally asked him. I said, "Oh, have you done a lot of work like on this block or in this neighborhood?" He goes, "No. You can just tell." It's like, all right, well, now this is weird, but thank
That
you
is so
for
weird.
bashing all of my neighbors.
This is such a classic fake story from Ben. I love when he
Yeah.
does this.
Anyways,
But I'm sorry to hear about your. Is it the bathroom in your addition? It's not original.
it's
not
the old bathroom. Yeah, it's too boring for the podcast. But basically, there's like a pipe that the bathtub is fitted to. Every time it drain the bathtub, it is just emptying into the walls and flowing into the studio in the basement. Yeah.
That's what I'm absolutely terrified of, is knowing what's going on in the walls of my old house.
Yeah, don't look. Mikey G writes in, they say, what are some signs that you've been gaming too much and now you need to put the controller down?
My hands hurt and my forearms hurt.
Forearms.
I've been able to extend my gaming by using my Therabody massage gun on my hands and forearms because it gets that serious.
That's like when
Deus
I
Ex.
bought. That's like for Baldur's Gate 3, I had to wear compression socks because I wasn't standing up enough. So I just put compression socks on to play Baldur's Gate 3.
There are some games where
Longer.
it gets that
God.
real because like I did back-to-back beat Karen and beat Pragmata, and those are both like controller gripping funky games, and I was putting in heavy hours. So that's how I know I've been gaming too much. And if I start, it's not really the game, but if I'm working too hard, I start dreaming about work. And that's when I know we taking it too serious. We got to ease up on the gas a bit.
Lately I've been when I get mad, which used to be just a regular part of gaming. Now it's more like, maybe I can be done right now and do something that's bringing me more joy versus like brute forcing my way through this to get a win over this little contraption.
Yeah. It's typically when I'm playing Kiln and I'm like screaming so much and I'm like,
Oh my
where were
God.
you? Stop feeding them. Like classic refrains. The Juan 1 writes in, they say, hey, MinnMax crew, what event/show got you the biggest case of FOMO? For me, it was the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest over the weekend. Man, I wanted to go there. Sarah, do you see that? Are you jealous? Do you want to go live in 14 Fan Fest world?
I mean, yeah, it looked really cool, but like, it seemed busy and crowded, I don't know. Too many people for me. It would be cool to see it and then be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. 'Cause where is
That's enough.
because they announced the new 14 expansion. What's it called?
Evercold.
Evercold, of course. Is it, wasn't the last one like Tropical Vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dawn Trail. Is this your segue into me getting to talk about Final Fantasy 14 like you talked about?
If you want to take the segue bait, but I'm
You were
curious,
now using community questions to segue into other topics that you didn't want to
treat
put in
it
the main
like
podcast?
it's a
Whoa.
damn dirty thing.
Well,
Don't
because
do
it always
that.
happens to my stuff. First it was Shenmue, now it's Final Fantasy 14.
And both are options that you didn't volunteer that you wanted to talk about to begin with. So I'm trying to get the conversation out there, period. But is it true that like the arc was like you were cooler on the last expansion than the last several? And so like where's your hype level for the new ice one?
I feel like it's giving like Shadowbringers, Heavensward. Like I feel like we're finally getting back to hopefully a good expansion. Not that I really bounced off the last expansion.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like the beach episode, like filler. It was giving filler. It was giving like let's just have a fun vacation on the beach, but then it got kind of depressing, and I was like, I just wasn't vibing with the story or anything. So hopefully, in this new expansion, we're going to one of the different worlds, and they don't know that. The issue with like MMOs is it's kind of like an arms race where like you can only save the world so many times before everybody knows that you're the savior of the world.
Yeah.
And then it can get kind of annoying when everybody's like, oh my god, it's the Warrior of Light, like here to help us, Warrior of Light. So it's nice to go to those places where it's like nobody knows who you are, nobody knows your story, they don't know that you're like really cool and like talented and stuff. They don't know you're the Warrior of Light. So I'm excited to go to that kind of expansion where it's like nobody knows you're famous, It's a new
Yeah.
world, uncharted frontiers. And from what I gleaned from the Fan Fest is it kind of feels like they're leaning away from a hardcore player and they're trying to cater more to the casual to mid player. which I appreciate as somebody who has a job and like doesn't have as much time to dedicate to MMOs like I used to. They're doing a bunch of stuff where like they're changing the dailies to weeklies, and it's kind of looks like a battle pass, but it's like if it's a weekly thing and not a daily thing, I'm down, because I don't think I ever really succeeded in doing dailies in Final Fantasy XIV. And then they're also changing. This is like the most controversial thing is the new game mode. Oh my god, what's it called? They're changing basically the buttons. There's a new game mode. It's like, here, let me look up the name, or people are gonna get mad at me on the internet.
Impossible.
Evolved mode. Evolved mode.
Thank you.
So in the old mode is called Reborn mode, and the new mode's called Evolved mode. And basically it's getting rid of like button bloat. Because every expansion, your character would get more buttons to press.
Right.
And eventually it's just too many buttons in my opinion. So they're scaling it down in this new Evolved mode. But they kind of split them. It's interesting. I definitely think they're catering a more mid-level player.
But they don't want to turn newbies off by streamlining, or like by making it look like it's more streamlined. Like it seems like that's
Well,
the
that's what
approach.
they're worried about. Is like they're worried about like the hardcore players were worried. They'd be like, but I like, how will I be better than other people if I don't press my buttons better than other people, because there's less ways to be better than other people.
Right.
And then I think they shared the skills a little bit more, and the hardcore players are coming around to it a little bit.
Okay.
So they're gonna share more, but yeah, it's been around for what, like 13 years?
It's crazy.
And it's like, I feel like MMOs, they always end up with like the level 1 versus level 100 is such a jump. It's such a crazy jump. I can't imagine what it's like inside to try to balance that.
Impossible.
And like stop it from getting so bloated. And it feels like with this expansion, they're going to try to like stem the bloat and address things that have become just kind of like stale in a way.
Speaking of bloat, was it just social media, or was it a genuine big deal that they had a whole like PowerPoint slide presentation and a big reveal was now they're adding a butt slider so you can make your booty bigger?
I don't think they're adding a butt slider. I think the butt slider was a joke, right? Is there actually a butt
was
slider?
it? I just saw that
Well, 'cause
slide with Yoshi P in front of a big slide that said butt slider.
Well, because everyone's been they're adding more character customization to the game because they want more customization for their characters, and the joke is that everybody wants a butt slider. And I believe when the Nier Automata raid came out, there was a pair of boots, or was it like bottoms, and it gave you a fat butt,
Like a 2B
a
butt?
juicy butt. Yeah, it gave you a 2B butt.
Whoa.
And then they nerfed it because they thought that the butt was too big, and then everybody lost their minds until
Okay.
they brought it back because they nerfed the butt on that.
Never nerf a butt, everybody.
So that's where like the jokes kind of come from. Is
Okay,
like you
okay.
kind of need like people are like, but why can't I have a fat ass? Sorry, Ben.
How dare you, please. This is a family-friendly show.
It was a Q&A question recently about it, where
Yeah.
he said, I'll be sure to ask the devs about it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That just means no. That just means it's not gonna happen.
Stop looking at butts and talking about butts. Internet. Caffeine Dad writes in. They say, on PPU Bang, Sarah mentioned drinking UV Blue in college, and Haley said she was living her best life with her super cool beer tower. You all shamed her so hard for that beer tower.
It was just the
you
way
all?
she used
I was on her
it.
side.
Okay. It got me thinking, what was your college alcoholic drink of choice, and what has it become now that you're older and more sophisticated? Personally, Caffeine Dad has gone from Lime-A-Ritas in college to gin and tonics. Ooh, the classic arc. The villain arc.
Sure.
I was hitting up that Blue Moon for like my first beers, and then
Good
for
one.
alcohol, Jim Beam, which I drank after graduating, and it literally tastes like death. I don't know how I ever drank it. I drank a lot of it at the time. It was like my favorite, basically, which is really gross.
Yeah.
And I would drink for like cocktails. I would drink a lot of old fashions, or just whatever was there. I don't know. You're just drinking anything at that point.
There was a big difference between when I was legally allowed to drink versus when I was not legally allowed to drink, and what you could get,
Yep.
which was just what somebody else brought for you. And that was like the UV Blue, which is disgusting. And then like the rum and cokes.
Right.
I was shamed recently. I was hanging out with my sister, and I walked up. She's like, "Oh, what are you drinking there?" I was like, "Oh, I got like a whiskey Coke." She's like, What are you in college? You can't just drink a whiskey. What? I've never been shamed by like, you're drinking a college drink. You're an adult now. I was like, what? I have outaged a whiskey Coke? I was horrified.
Try ordering Shirley Temples out and about.
Oh,
I'll
that's
give you a
rough.
thick skin real quick.
They taste good. I want Shirley
I
Temple.
can't be the only guy who orders these. They're yummy. In college, I drank Wild Turkey whiskey
Nice.
because that's what I heard somebody on a podcast I listened to say they drank. And maybe it was the same with you for Jim Beam, Janet, where there's a little bit of like just having the illusion that you have a preference feels very adult and
Yeah,
cool.
I think you're right. That is a big thing. Like, I specifically
And the
want
price,
this.
which was cheap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
oh,
in
this is like you get so much of it. Why isn't everyone buying this? It's because
Right.
it's really nasty.
God, this is.
In the last few years, as I've gotten used to drinking as in an adult body that suffers as an adult does, rum drinks have the best effect on me. I have the most fun, and I'm not as crazy hungover as
Yep.
with other stuff.
But then at the same time, I was thinking about drinking history, and I was like, oh, Sailor Jerry. I used to have a lot of that old cheap rum, and that's like, when I think of just like laying in a yard, a pool of my puke next to me, I think of like Sailor Jerry
no.
being the result. It's like,
Yes.
it's rough. And it was like, oh, Silver Wolf, was that the old vodka that was a real star of the show? Just, oh, my mouth is just like drying out at just the thought of all these old hard drinks I used to have.
I drink a good amount of the Smirnoff Ice, because we would play that ice game where you get iced. So like there was that. This is whatever. Now I drink for beers, usually IPAs. Depending on what I'm doing and like the night I want to have, I'll throw in like a lager for like the lower ABV, and I'll do some non-alcoholic beers also. Like my non-alcoholic go-to beer is what's it called? It's not all day IPA, but it's like it looks similar, and it's like the cousin of that. I think it's Sierra Nevada makes one. Trail Pass is the name of it.
Nice. Yeah, I was trying to think, even going back further, I was like probably high school. I remember being like, I think this is my drink. I think I invented this and it's good. And it was vodka and cream soda. And now I cannot imagine anything worse than a vodka cream
Okay, wait.
soda.
Ooh, new show plus. We drink our old college drinks,
Ooh.
and then we report back the next
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
A water bottle half full of Wild Turkey and filled up to the top with tap water.
Classy.
And we just
yeah.
live stream ourselves feeling like shit and laying
Well, then
next
we
to the
like
toilet for the
play
rest of the
college
day.
games. Like, let's do some Mario Kart. Let's do
Oh
some
my
like.
God. It's
I
just
don't know.
college drinking, but responsibly. Like, that's the entire
Remember-
angle.
I had so much anxiety like transitioning through like college and stuff about not having like a signature drink and like going to the bar and being like, what do I order? Like if I want a
Yep.
cocktail, what do I order? What do I do? That for the longest time I would just say mojito because that's all I knew. So I'd be like, mojito, and it was really easy to say in Japanese.
Oh,
So I
that's a
also
great
did
Japanese
that
word.
because it was really easy to say in Japanese. So that's like that was like my go-to drink.
Nice, nice.
Smart. I still struggle with that because Mai Tai is the best drink, but it's a lot of work to make, and I don't want to seem like an ass for ordering it.
Yeah.
So gin and tonic is my simple. It's yummy.
Yeah.
You can get it anywhere. It's classy.
Yeah. yeah
But then when
no,
they ask you like,
also.
what gin do you want? I'm like, I don't know.
You know what? We get the best one in there, and don't even tell me you don't know.
I ruined mandarin oranges for myself because I remember in college we made like a little wop of like soaking them in vodka and then just chugging mandarin oranges, and now like I can't taste one without thinking of just like that thing just soaked with vodka. Just a nightmare. Yuck.
Did you guys ever play King's Cup? I would refuse. I thought that was like the most disgusting game ever.
Which one was that?
Where everyone has different drinks and you're pouring them into a big cup, the King's Cup.
Yeah.
And if you like lose or whatever, you have to drink from it
Yep.
or drink all
Ew.
of it. I don't
Yep.
remember which one it was.
We did a variant of that where you remember Crocodile Dentist? Where you
Oh, I
press
played
the
that
teeth down?
too, but with shots around the edge.
Well, it was a combo. Like, we called it the Crocodile, and everyone would just mix their drink in the middle in a big cup, and then you
we called
that.
it Croc a shot.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, but then whoever
thank you.
whoever had their mouth closed on their finger, then they had to chug everybody's mix of a drink, and it was disastrous in a fun way. But boy, aren't we glad we moved on from those days?
So like, this new
Yeah,
show
but
plus we
now-
go forever. We have endless ideas.
I know.
Now I'm on like the other side of it where like I'm like, oh, I can't drink beer, it makes me feel bloated or something. Like I can only
Yeah.
drink white. Now I'm on the other end where I'm like, white wine only, please.
It's just kind of
And it
white
feels
wine to
bad.
the grave.
Well, you had a margarita at Jimmy Buffett's margarita.
Oh sure, I
didn't
do
you?
love a margarita.
That's
I
true.
do
Everyone's
love
got to give
a
it a
mess with a
margarita. Pelican Man, hey Pelican Man, they write in, they say, missed joke opportunity. On last week's podcast, Ben asked Jeffem, does the abacus count as a toy from his childhood because he's old? But Jeffem should have, and in fact needed to have said, yes, that's exactly what it does. Yeah, you're right. Jeffem blew it so hard. I cannot believe he did not come up with that joke. That's
This is why
embarrassing.
Jeffrey's leaving for the Leo Win show.
He's
This
leaving?
kind of stuff.
We haven't
I mean,
announced that yet.
Oh, sorry.
Neutral
Can you
plus
cut
for the
that?
lore. Neutral plus for the lore. It's a live episode. Arturo Perez writes in. This is a gotcha journalism question I've ever heard in my life. What was the last thing that made you happy? Sarah's
Galaxy
gonna
One
Likes
the
this
other
question.
day.
Who liked this question?
Janet
I think
did.
I liked it. Yeah,
Get her.
I'm the toxic positivity. It's what I'm known for. I mean, a bunch of like little things, but like the first that came to mind for me was like the LA Galaxy finally won. We haven't been having a good season for like the last 2 years, and I was like, I'm a season ticket member, so I was like there like in person, and like that was just so great. Like, thank God we like barely scraped by. We had a goalie that actually stopped the ball from going in sometimes, which is new to this year.
Wow.
So I was like, that was great. And then it was also just a nice mix of a bunch of other things. Like we had it was like the Kobe Jones statue unveiling that day, and then like we had like a player meet and greet signature thing. And then when we left that, like it was like way later because it takes a while for the players to like come out after playing and stuff. It's like we looked out and like the sun was setting, and like the stadium has like all the palm trees and stuff. Like it was just a nice vibe. So that's like the first thing that came to mind. But I'm sure it's something more recent, you know, and tinier, like my cat walking around. Like he has to do
Yeah.
very little to like bring me some joy because he's just a little guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's cheating to have kids. They're just little love fountains in your house. But it's like the other day, we got the 2.5-year-old a scooter, like a little kid scooter, and then I had like
Cute.
another scooter, and like we scooted down the sidewalk to the store together. It was like the first time we've like
That's
gone on
adorable.
like little vehicles together. I was like, this is like the most fun thing in the frickin' world. So scooting is the answer, of course, obviously. If you don't answer, Leo and Sarah, I'm gonna worry about your souls.
I don't know to make the distinction between like a really happy, true moment of serenity versus like lots of little things made me happy today. I put off all the things I didn't want to do all week until today, this morning, and then I did all of them. And I
Nice.
checked them off, and I moved them to my Trello
Hell
done
yeah.
section, and that made me happy.
Hello.
I guess I volunteered for that Mia Art and Bloom.
Yeah.
I thought it was really. I was really
Yeah.
scared because
That was
I
cool.
haven't done any like go out of my house and like volunteer for something and be in the public.
Mm.
So that was really fun because there was a lot of people there. I talked to a lot of people. I helped a lot of people. I only misinformed a few people on where things were, but you know that's life.
You're a volunteer. They're not going to judge you. This is the Minneapolis Institute of Art. That's cool. That was cool that you got involved with that. Does it make you want to
Were
get out
there
there?
any fans there?
Ooh.
No fans, but people kept thanking me because they knew I was a volunteer, and I felt like, you know, is this what it feels like when you're in the military and you have your hat on, and people are like, "Thank you for your service."
Yeah. I haven't done it for a while since having kids, yeah, but we used to volunteer to be like ushers and ticket takers and stuff at like a little theater in Minneapolis here. And then we'd get like, hey, free musicals and stuff because my wife really loves musicals. And I love them too. But it was so weird because everybody would like, thank me at the end of the performance. Like, hey, great job, thank you so much. I was like, that's insane that I come here for one night and take credit that these actors are on stage. Then again, robbing credit from actors, a good day if you ask me. Anyways, Adam writes in, they say, I really struggle connecting to games like Nier and Pragmata because I'll never believe robot characters are alive, so I don't care what happens to them. Astrobot was fun, but I've rolled my eyes during the credits. Who cares if he breaks?
When he's being killed.
Yeah, when he's being torn
crying.
apart. Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, have you played Astrobot? That literally is the ending of Astrobot. It's awesome. As they say, he's a thing. He just mimics thoughts. It's like crying over a microwave. Why do people care about these robot characters?
They're cute.
They're cute.
They make
and-
me love them by giving them eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, the spoiler is, who do you care about? Elena from Uncharted? She's also just a robot. I mean, technically, they're all ones and zeros, right? Like, come on. Let's be honest here.
I feel like there's like a special sympathy that you can tap into for robots that you like can't tap into as much for humans, because it's like robots inherently were designed and then made to do with like one single task kind of thing. Like they don't have as much agency as humans, I guess. So it's like the one robot that. So sometimes I feel like you can sympathize for them in like a different way, and more like a trapped way, and more like a made without your consent kind of way. But like the one that really messed me up was like the Nier Automata robot who's like trying to bring. You're playing as the robot, and you're trying to bring oil to your dying brother, but every time you get close, you trip and you fall and you spill the bucket. And your brother robot is like slowly dying, and then you have to go back and get the oil, and then you have to come back, and I think like 3 times you spill this bucket of oil, and you can literally see him dying, and you move really slow with the bucket, and then I think you come and like you both just get blown up, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Your struggle was in vain, and I think that's like the most I've ever like sympathy and empathized and wanted to cry in a video game ever.
Wow.
Was watching that little robot try to bring and you play as the little robot trying to bring your brother oil, and I was just like, oh, this messed me up.
Oh God. Did you get to that early? Because I'm trying to remember. I know we talked about it before, but you were at 8.4 when they started to work on Nier Automata, but like not to that level.
Yeah, I was at 8.4 and I saw it and I was like, why are her clothes falling off? And then that put me off for like 5 years. And then I think I played it like 3 years ago. And I was like, this is really good despite the fact that her clothes fall off.
Right. Yeah, I think there's like...
They're also kind of like pets.
That's it.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like... Obviously, it's different because like a pet is alive in a way that a robot isn't. But like the amount of like stuff we put on our pets, at least I do, it's like, oh, he doesn't know what's going on. But it's like, no, like it's his birthday today. And like... He doesn't know that, but like he's gonna get a special treat, and we're gonna say happy birthday, you know, like stuff like that, you know. Like
Yeah.
I think it's like you can gain attachments to physical objects that then like become like emotional. Like I guess like the closest like real world comparison I can think of is like a car, where it's like, oh, I've had this car since I was like in high school. Like I learned how to drive. Like I think it's like that kind of thing. But then what if your car had eyes?
Right.
You know, in the front of it. It's like that would like times 10. You're going to be like, this is my little buddy car.
And voiced by Larry the Cable Guy, you'd care about him even more. I mean,
Or so
I can't
Disney
even
wants
tell.
you to think.
Yeah. I think it is just that simple. They're simple-minded in their own way. These robots, like they need protecting, and you know, it's like they're
I was
sole
just
functions.
learning to love. You know.
Now I care about Janet. Like it works. Matthew W. writes in, they say, hi, MinnMax. If you liquefied all the content that MinnMax has produced, what would be the total volume? Thanks for writing in,
a
Matthew.
king's cup of content.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, so we're talking like over 2,000 videos on YouTube, technically 344 episodes of the MinnMax show, which is wild to think about. What would be that volume, Leo? This is on the ACTs.
If each hour is like one full nourishing huel.
Yeah, I think measure it in heels. The only form of measurement I care about.
Then yeah, I guess it'd be like a swimming pool of huel.
God, otherwise known as a good start.
And is this with or without the Spain travel blog in it?
So yeah, 11 hours of Huel fuel. That's going to add a decent bit there for sure. By the way, if you want to talk about humanizing robots, a good chunk of that game, Virtuous Sledgehammer, is about exactly that struggle. So look forward to more discussion about that soon. Do you guys want to talk more about MinnMax, or do you want to talk about something else? Sarah, which way are you leaning?
Let's talk about something else.
Thank God. Kath writes in to say, hey, everyone, any suggestion what to listen to when you fall asleep? Or what to listen to fall asleep?
I listen to Nothing Much Happens. If I choose to listen to anything, I'm kind of off that now and just try to like will myself asleep because I think that's more generally like good. But yeah, it's like a little basically like bedtime stories. And they read the story once and then they read it again, but a little bit slower. And they're like about nothing. That's like the point. It's called Nothing Much Happens, where it'll be like, I'm not going to try to mimic the voice because it's not going to sound good, but it's like, you know, this is about someone going to like a bookstore during the fall and maybe along the way it's like, and then they kind of just read through it slowly. And I find that very like pretty soothing.
Yeah.
And they do some ads at the front that you can just skip through if you feel like it because you're going to sleep, because it's a little weird to listen to an ad when you're going to sleep, or you can pay.
It should be
and they have
illegal.
like an ad-free version, which I have subscribed to before back when I was like heavier into it. Like, yeah, I listen to this literally every day. I'll give you a couple dollars to like get to hear you read stuff.
I think it's fun, like especially on planes where I'm like, I'm gonna fall asleep for 45 minutes on this flight. I'm feeling pretty confident, you know? And like just to choose a podcast that I'm like, here's one that I don't care if I miss a good chunk of it, but I'm still interested enough to hear it. It's kind of fun to like
I'd be
fall
scared
asleep.
they'd start yelling and scare me awake.
Well, that's part of it.
Shooting.
Yeah, you never know, I guess. You know, alarm clock mid-roll. You never know what to expect. But like it's fun. I don't know if you all have that of like when you're drifting off listening to a podcast and you know your brain like kind of starts converting it into like dreamland logic and then you wake back up and it's like, wait, were they just talking about? Was that my dream taking the words into a whole new arena? It's like you always think you're catching more than you do and then you realize like, oh, an hour has gone by in this podcast and I was out for all of it. It's fun. It's fun to experiment with listening to podcasts, you guys.
I can't fall asleep while listening to things.
Period.
Even on the plane? Or can you not sleep on the plane in general?
No, I think on the plane I just put on like music that I've already heard a million times, but it's like I need like dead silence
Yeah.
to go to sleep. Like, and if there's a book or something, I know that I'm going to stay up and listen to it.
What about like, so you don't have like a fan running? You don't got like sound machine? Wow.
I mean, like a
impressive.
fan's like I can do like a fan or something, but what I do is I'll like read a book until my eyes start to close, and then I know that it's time for bed. So I just
That's
like
good.
read.
That's nice.
Healthy. That's very
But I do,
I love that
I do
feeling.
have to read to that point where I'm literally passing out. It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I think my eyes just closed for 5 seconds. I should probably put the book away and go to sleep.
Yeah. And that's like 2 a.m?
Yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
That's like my natural. I finally found my natural sleep pattern, and it is unfortunately 2 a.m.
Well, it takes all kinds.
Drifting Off with Joe Pera is a podcast that Joe Pera does, who's a guy with a very calming voice, and it's written 20-minute episodes, just musing on some topic, very funny but very chill. And the Patreon bonus is so smart. It's made for you to fall asleep too. And the Patreon bonus is the 25-minute episode plus 8 hours of extended ambience and music from the episode. So it just literally drifts you off to sleep, and you don't have to get up and press pause or take the headphones off or whatever.
I think the real answer is going to be my get a load of this for this episode because it's so boring, Kath. You might drift off. So brace for impact on that one. What do y'all like for question of the week? Tough one. There's the how many buildings where you've been in every room, college alcoholic drink, robot characters, drifting off to sleep.
Does everybody tell you your house is the coolest house they've ever seen?
Right. Yeah, that one. I'm leaning the every room one. I think I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
That really messed you up.
Maybe I'm
Inside,
alone.
thinking
If
about
I'm
that.
alone, choose another one.
No, I like that one.
I like it.
Sarah, who's not getting
can
messed
have-
up now?
Well, you can have it.
Okay, great. Congratulations, Tess. You just won the grand prize thanks to I'm 8-Bit. Now it's time for something that we personally love to call Get a Load of This. Boring one first. Kath, wake up. Okay, so we all know SCUBA is an acronym, right?
Right.
For the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Very fun little factoid. I went to a firefighting museum this weekend, and I learned that the oxygen mask that firefighters wear is called a self-contained breathing apparatus. It's a SCUBA without the U in there. I didn't know there were variants of SCUBA without the U. They're not calling it a SCIBA. It's just SCUBA, but there's no fun acronym.
I'm super behind because I didn't even realize SCUBA was an acronym. So
Oh, there
I'm
you
like
go.
missing. I'm missing a couple chapters. I gotta lock in.
There you go. Wake up, Kath. There's better ones coming.
Get a load of this. Boring 1 second. Mine is just, I have been really, I've talked about this on the pod before, and I know I'm not alone in the idle games kick. I've revisited Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, and I think this is the one to fix me, guys. I know I say that every couple weeks that I found a new system to fix me, but I'm obsessed. I won't spend too much time on it, but I think it's just a very thorough idle game. Really cool. It has music that you could play live if you want to stream it. And it has like a bunch of Pomodoro timer integrations if you like that kind of thing. Again, more could be said, but I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, Leo, what's the one that you love? The little activity thingy?
On together.
Yeah, on together. Virtual co-working, little 3D guy running around, sitting next to your 3D friends, working together. I'm in it every single day I can be, every minute I can be.
And what do you get out of it?
It's digital body doubling. So it's we have a circle of friends who are dipping in and out, but it's every day. It's always me and Joe in there, and we have our Pomodoros synced up. So we got 25 minutes working and then 5-minute break. What are you working on? Talking through things with each other. It's actually just I don't know. It really ended up being a way to feel closer to Joe despite living far apart. We get a lot of like quality time in our work time and get more effective work done because we're holding each other accountable and doing the timers, and it's more fun to work on it. Yeah. It's been pretty life-changing.
Sweet. Links below if you want to check that stuff out. Sarah, you got one?
Yes, mine is not boring. Love in Deep Space, or as I like to call it, Love in Freak Space, is added again. Their new, I don't know what to call it, their new like story mode, their new card thing is called Lingering Lust. And it is so, they can't show any of the scenes from it because they're a little too explicit for social media. So they got around it in China by taking like Chinese characters that say things and making them like animate the scenes together. And like you can hear like the heavy breathing. So like don't listen to this, like put headphones in or something when you listen to this. Because it is explicit. And then there's, like, for the English one, I don't know if this one's real or not, but it's just, like, stick figures. And it like, in various compromising positions. But yeah, it's literally a little too explicit. They can't put it on social media.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And what's weird about this game is I am, you know, a Love and Freak Space fan. You know, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 18+ game in China. But it's only 13+ in the US, which I think it's because when they first reviewed it, it didn't have as much explicitness in it. But now they've definitely, it's slipped. I think it's very explicit. They definitely have like audio erotica in there. And I don't want to be that person, but I feel we may need to revisit that age rating.
Yeah, is it like good for those kids for, I don't know, sneaking in early and then being like, huzzah, look, we get adult games. I say nay.
I don't know about that. Okay. But I don't want the Republicans to find it either.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I think that they need to raise the age rating, but I also think that if the Republicans find out about this, like they would just blow the lid off of all of women's like secrets. And I don't want them to find out about it.
Okay, so we won't add links below for this one, but you can find it if you need to. Leo, you got one?
Wait, Sarah, send me the link because I'm curious.
I'm still gonna. Ben should still put the link in.
If it's an illegal
I'm
link.
joking. I should put the link in. I know.
Okay.
I'm being censored.
For kids. Porn for kids. Nothing's ringing a bell. All I have is Balatro OST in the style of Masayoshi Takanaka, which is a wonderful little thing to put on and listen to. Masayoshi Takanaka is the Japanese funk guitarist whose career, like, he was basically retired and then he randomly came back from social media. Yes.
Yes, I love him!
He is awesome. And this is a fan-made thing by Wanye, which is the songs from Balatro in that style, made without AI. So a lot of these things are AI now on YouTube, but this one's made by humans, and it sounds so good and so accurate to both. Incredible listen.
That's awesome. Link below if you want to check it out. Thanks to We Go Giant in the community Discord. There's a get a load of this channel that just shares fun factoids each day, every day, all day. It's very fun to have everyone just share cool links. Gaming news, but also just stuff beyond that. Like this headline, Prego pivots from budget tier pasta sauce to small microphones that listen to your family's intimate conversations.
Right.
I don't know if you all saw this, but the story goes, on Monday, the Campbell's Soup-owned brand announced a new hockey puck-shaped device called the Connection Keeper, designed for documenting dinner table exchanges so that they may be preserved for all time. The device resembles a lid of one of Prego's pasta jars. And they claim, like, hey, it's not connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. There's no weird AI features. You can keep this offline if you want. We just want to have a pasta sauce cap that can technically record your family's discussions if you want this, which I think is twisted, but also I'm kind of into it.
Who's leaving the sauce on the table? We got to record the pod with this.
Oh.
Yeah, if only we had that for the Game Informer end of year game of the year meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, just secretly, I'm just gonna sit here with my lunch, which is just a bowl of pasta and Prego. Don't mind.
It's really just the pasta sauce container. Nothing else.
Oh my God.
Whose sauce lid is that? Don't move it.
It sounds terrible. Anyways, links below for all this fun stuff. But that is it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, listening, sharing. Janet, you got something going on?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to plug that I am back with like a new streaming schedule that I've been doing for the last couple weeks. Twitch.tv/GameOnysus. That's game ONYSUS. Mondays at 3 p.m. PT, and I'm uploading those VODs to YouTube under the same handle. So if you can't turn live for Twitch or you just prefer YouTube, you can like see them there.
Cool. Check it out. We got a lot of stuff going on here on at MinnMax. We got the new episode of Pew Pew Bang, all about esports, just dropped. There's the Loaded Gun, which if you're at the $5 tier, you get kind of the extended pre-show discussion. This week it was an hour-long pre-show.
The value of the gun has gone up like
It's
exponentially
insane.
since
It's
we
insane.
first launched this.
Yeah, it is filled with revelations, including Kelsey talking about being at Evo, I believe, and she was sitting next to a celebrity in a mask the entire time, and she had no idea. And when she reveals who that celebrity was, it got a real pop out of me. I was very excited. But let's see. Other stuff going on. We have an interview with Matt Fyror, who was the founder of ZeniMax Online, building up the studio that went on to make Elder Scrolls Online. That's on MinnMax's YouTube channel and the bonus podcast feed. But specifically, the most interesting chunk is he talks about the studio's next project, kind of the follow-up to Elder Scrolls Online, which is called Project Blackbird, that was canceled by Microsoft, and he quit after that because he was so disillusioned by that. And so it's good insight into what it's like working within ZeniMax under Microsoft at this point. And so, yeah, check out that interview if you like. If you want to help support that directly, you can always do that on Patreon. Jump in again at that $5 tier before this coming Monday in particular if you're a new supporter. And I'll personally DM you a Steam code for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection if you want to get that sweet game and support us at the same time. It's a great opportunity for you. But other stuff is Doc Lightning. Going throughout the month of May, we have a challenge for the MinnMax community to make a short documentary. A short documentary under 3 minutes about any topic whatsoever. You don't need to be a filmmaker. It can be shot with your phone, edited with free software. You're out of excuses. We want you to try something new. And so if you jump in and support us at any tier on Patreon, you can submit your short documentary about any topic you like. No self-promotion, obviously, but find something to document. You can record it all with a Prego can, by all means. And then we're going to have a big screening at the end of the month. So check out Patreon for more details on Doc Lightning there. And then, yeah, MinnMax Spotlight coming up this Monday for the Spain trip and Deconstruct team in Selkie Harbor. And then Sarah and Haley are flying out for Kyoto very soon as well to film the next MinnMax Spotlight. So look alive for all that. Feeling good, Sarah?
I'm very excited that this is the first time you've acknowledged it.
Yeah.
That Haley and I are going on a trip.
Hell yeah. And we'll be revealing more of that very, very soon. Technically, there have been strong hints in MinnMax content for quite a while if you're knowing where to look. But that reveal will be coming up on Monday here. So there we go, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll be back next week with a whole new episode of the MinnMax Show. And until then, be good, have fun, let's go.